Hello and welcome
to Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey.
And I'm Max.
And this is the podcast where we tell each other stories like fairy tales and folk tales and mythology and whatever else we want to talk about.
Mm-hmm. And also, you're here.
Welcome! This is episode 89.
Yeah.
That legitimately blew my mind.
Yeah, it's a lot of episodes.
That's so many.
It's coming to a point where every single week I write down what episode number we're working on, and every time I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of episodes.
Some might say too many.
We've made this joke too often lately. We're not ending the podcast just because we have a lot of episodes.
Yeah, we're going to end the podcast because we're going to start a fight right now. You bitch!
Son of a bitch!
Well, hi, welcome. This podcast is not for kids. Hopefully, if you've listened to any of the episodes before, you know why. Mm-hmm. But we're going to curse a whole lot, so don't play this around your children.
Yes. And also sometimes there are themes of violence and other potentially disturbing themes. So we'll do our best to try and try and preface those anytime we have anything more than PG-13 that comes up in a story. But yeah, we're not great about it because we're humans and this isn't scripted.
This is, believe it or not, there's no script for this. I do write a pretty lengthy notes.
I don't.
I put a lot of little jokes in mine that make me hee-hee at the moment, and then I forget to read them.
Wow. Yeah. I come up with my jokes on the fly like a true comedian.
She really does.
No two shows are the same. I'm the Patton Oswalt of telling fairy tales.
I was thinking about putting my notes as they are up on the website. In case anybody ever wants to just like read them. Because my notes are so typed out. It's the whole story. Just like typed out in bullet points so that I remember it. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about doing that. If you want that, please let us know on the Discord and I'll make that happen.
Maybe on the Patreon.
Perhaps on the Patreon. Hey, speaking of, do you want to hang out with us? Like on a regular basis?
I have Fridays free most of the time, but sometimes not. So, like, that's a good place to start from if we want to make plans, but...
I mean, we record on Saturdays, but we can work around that. I mean, It's a flexible schedule.
I mean, today's Sunday and we're recording.
So what are we doing, guys?
You guys want to go see a movie?
If that doesn't work, because it probably won't, you can join us on Patreon.
The link to our Patreon is in the show notes for this episode and every episode. If you join us on Patreon at the $3 tier, you get access to the Discord.
And you are officially part of Team Troll.
Team Troll.
Hey.
And if you join it for $7, you get a whole lot more stuff, which is really cool. Hey, Janey, why don't you take it away?
Okay, no more microphone for you. If you join us at the $7 level, that is the Story Babies tier. You're an official Story Baby. Congratulations. And every month, you get a brand new Shiny and Chrome bonus episode where Max and I do exactly this, except with no ads for Patreon. Mm-hmm. It's pretty wild, and sometimes we answer questions, and it's really fun. So you get a new bonus episode, you get a backlog of bonus episodes, you get every episode that we release on the regular podcast a day early, and there's a bunch of other stuff that sometimes we do, but you have to join. You also get access to the Discord as well. Mm-hmm. So,
and if you have things if you're one of our Patreon members, if you have things
patrons, they're called patrons.
If you're patronizing us and you have something that you want from us, let us know. We would love to be able to give you guys cool stuff.
Like hair,
nails,
teeth,
not teeth. I need
semen,
my teeth. Oh.
Eyelashes. Neither of us have that. We have to find it, and that's the beauty.
Yeah. So join us on Patreon, hang out with us on Discord, and find us on our social channels. And you can find all that information and so much more on our beautiful, sexy little thing of a website, sortofthestory.com.
The little PYW.
Pretty young website.
It's a pretty young website. Yeah. Plus, on the website, you also get a whole list of our stories, and that one is for free. I'm gonna throw that at you guys for no monies at all.
Wow.
I know. Okay. Well, Max,
Janey?
That was business taken care of. That was a little bit of chit chat. That was. I mean, we nailed that.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Thanks for joining the podcast, guys. It's been real. Goodbye.
Again, we keep joking about no longer doing the podcast. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
These are jokes.
What would we do if we didn't have the podcast? Honestly, we wouldn't even be friends.
I would have like a whole extra 5 hours a week. Janey would have like 30 extra hours a week.
We only talk to each other when the mics are on, so it really is a chance for us to catch up.
We actually broke up as friends about 6 months ago.
Oh my god, yeah. Honestly, I've had about 30 extra hours a week since breaking up. It's been great. Okay.
Janey.
Yeah.
First of all, great to talk to you for the first time this
Wow,
week.
yeah, no, you're looking great.
Thank you so much. You look fine.
Yeah, you look like you washed your hair, which is great. Honestly, good for you.
You look like you didn't, but you're like pulling it off or whatever, I guess for certain spaces.
So much. Oh my god. Is that a new shirt or is that just like the old one?
Yeah, no, it's the old one.
Oh, it's the old one, the one that you wore last week. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. It looks good on you. I mean, why change up a good thing, you know?
I know, right? And, clearly, I mean, like your hair, your makeup, you get it. Anyways, would you like to tell me a story?
I'm gonna fucking tell you the story, you bitch. You don't even know what you're in for. All right, I'm gonna tell you a story. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, Max.
Janey.
For episode 89, I am pulling a story from a book that I got off Thrift Books. It's an old library book. It's falling apart and it's adorable and I really enjoyed it. It's called The Serpent Slayer and Other Stories of Strong Women by Katrina Chana and illustrated by the most unfortunately named person in the world. Do you want to read that name?
Oh, no.
The bottom of the book?
Trina Shart Hyman. Oh, no.
The illustrator, and it's beautiful illustration, and she has passed RIP, and she is a prolific illustrator, but her name is Trina Shart Hyman.
Unfortunate.
That's
beautiful artwork.
Oh my god, she was talented and had to be. So this is a story called...
A true chartist.
She's a chartist for sure.
Sorry, that was really bad.
Well, this is an Armenian story that in this book is called Sun Girl and Dragon Prince. I also found a full original version that is very different than this version. They have kind of similar themes, but I kind of blended the two stories together. And so I linked the book, of course, in the show notes, and I also linked the free versions that I found on Project Gutenberg, Steve Gutenberg's website, and also fairytaleswithaz.com. And that one is called Dragon Child and Sun Child. Okay. So I kind of mix them together, and I'm going to let you know which one comes from which, but this was most of it's coming from The Serpent Slayer.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask the cover illustration and the title, The Serpent Slayer, is this from Lychee Slays the Serpent?
Exactly, yes.
Which you told on the podcast before.
I did, and we'll find the episode for that one, because that one is very fun. But yeah, this one is all about, the first story is about Lychee slaying the serpent, and it's pretty great.
Hell yeah. Love it.
But this is an Armenian story, Sun Girl and Dragon Prince. There once was a poor peasant who had a daughter named Aravat, or Sun Girl.
Oh.
Yes.
That was an early reveal. I was like,
whoops.
Who could the Sun Girl be?
Who's the Sun Girl? It's Aravat. She is the daughter of a poor. So
One of the poor.
One of the poor. She was named this because she was freaking awesome. Her smile lit up rooms. Everyone thought she was really sweet. She was kind of brightened up even the darkest of days, just like the sun. So it wasn't her looks. It was just she was a really likable fucking kid. Her mother died when she was 8 years old because it doesn't matter how good your personality is, moms still die.
Oof.
Call your mom. And just
Happy Father's Day, call your mom.
Happy Father's Day, but give your mom a call. Just like Cinderella, her father wasted no time in replacing his dead wife and marrying another woman.
Sure.
Yes. This woman fucking hated Aravat. Just immediately, she saw her as competition, and she did not like this little girl.
Yikes.
So, like most stepmothers in fairy tales, she decided that she wanted to get rid of her. And she started the process of doing that. Every day, she would send Aravat to tend their sheep in the fields. And she'd pack one piece of stale bread for her to eat, which seems like she has to specifically leave bread out to go stale.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, you're doing that intentionally.
Just taking out one slice of bread and leaving it on the counter overnight. And then the rest of it's still, like, closed up and delicious and moist.
You're going out of your way to be a dick.
Yeah.
So she'd pack one piece of stale bread for her to eat all day, and then Aravat would be forced to tend the sheep and card wool from sun up to sundown. And even though she was miserable and starving, and this was like a horrible life, she still had a great attitude because she was just that type of person. And every day and every year, she grew more and more beautiful, and people would love her more and more and more. So one day, while she was carding her wool on the edge of a rocky cliff, she accidentally dropped her comb on the ledge below. I appreciate you not asking what it means to card wool.
I work in a fibers department.
Tell me.
It's I think it's when you like brush wool out so that it's in the individual fibers that are straightened so that it's like right before you spin it.
Isn't there like that cool machine that's like all needles on like a wheel and you just like like throw it?
Yeah.
Guys, go look that up on TikTok. It's very satisfying.
Oh my God. The people who do like the custom yarn
mixing.
Yeah, where they do like a bunch of colors and they all just like, they comb it across all of these little needles. It's so good.
So good. Anyway, so I guess that's what she does, but she has a little comb to do it with. So one day she accidentally dropped that comb off the edge of a rocky cliff. And so she scaled the side of the cliff to grab the comb, and she was surprised when she got to the ledge that there was a little cave hidden there.
Ooh.
Yeah. And there was also a little old woman standing there. Just like not like unnaturally small, just like she was small. She was old, kind of hunched. Don't worry about it. You're being really rude about
How'd
this.
she get down there?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
No. And so she's holding Aravat's comb in her hand, and she's like, hi. And Aravat's like, oh, hello, can I have my comb back, please? And the woman's like, yeah, no, in time, come on in. I've been, I'd love to have some company. And she just kind of like waddles back into her little cave home, and Aravat's like, well, I don't want to be rude. So she follows her into the cave. And she's pretty surprised to see that it's a nice house, actually. It's actually kind of like gross and messy, but she didn't want to say that. So she's like, nice house.
Wow.
Woo. And the woman gets to like a corner of the little cave and is like, yeah, welcome to my home. And then hands her a broom and she's like, get sweeping.
Oh, word?
And Aravat's like, okay. My sheep are up there all alone, but all right. And so what?
This sounds like, what is it? The Ogress in the Well? That tale type?
Kind of.
You've read a couple of those, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever done them on the podcast.
I don't know if we've ever done, but yeah, that's a type.
Yeah.
So but she asks her, as she's sweeping, the old woman says, which house is cleaner? Mine or yours? And Aravat does not want to be rude, and she's like, oh, yours for sure. I really love what you've done with the place. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. And the old woman's like, thank you. Good answer. Okay. And so Aravat puts the broom away and she's like, anyway, can I have my comb back? And the old woman's like, sure. But first I want you to comb my hair. And she like sits down and she like takes her hair out of her bun and then she just like waits. And Aravat's like, okay. With the carding comb that all right. So she starts combing her hair. And as she did this, she noticed that there's lice and dirt and all sorts of things in this old woman's like bird nest of a hair. And she's like, okay. She's trying to comb it really gently. And the woman's like, who has cleaner hair, me or your mom? And Aravat's like, I mean, you, I guess. And like, technically that's true. Her mom is dead. She probably doesn't have very clean hair anymore.
Oh yeah, full of bugs.
Yeah, but
Worms.
also like...
Worms and mold.
Okay, lady, you don't know my story.
Yeah.
So the old woman smiles and nods, and she's like, good. And then she says, well, I'm just gonna take a nap right here. And then she throws her head on Aravat's lap, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep real quick. So you just go ahead and keep touching my head. And Aravat's like, what the fuck is happening?
Who's better at taking naps, me or you?
Me or your mom? My mom, for sure.
She's been taking a nap for a couple years now.
My mom has been napping for all of 10 years. So she says, while I'm asleep, a river is going to rush through this cave. No big deal. Aravat's like, are we safe? We're on a cliffside. And she says, so the water's going to be black at first, and then it'll turn red like blood, and then after that it's going to turn yellow. And when it turns yellow, go ahead and wake me up because I want to see that. And Aravat's like, okay. And so the old lady starts like honk shoeing right away, and Aravat's like, what a weird day I'm having. I need to get back up to my sheep.
And the sheep are up on the cliff, just like,
bah. There's just a wolf up there gobbling up every sheep. So the water starts to rush in, just as the old woman said. And first it's black, which is very scary, just like black water coming in like ink. Then it turns red, like blood. And finally it turns yellow. And when the cave is like filled up with this disgusting yellow water, she shakes the old woman awake and she's like, hey, it's happening. What next? You seem to know what to do. And this is a quote from the story. Totally normal.
Mm-hmm.
The old woman jumped up and seized Aravat by the legs. She was as strong as a giant, even though she was so old. She pushed the young girl's head all the way under the water.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And then she just holds her there as she's like struggling in this gross yellow water. So when Aravat is finally able to like stand up again, she's like sputtering and traumatized, and she looks like a drowned rat. She's like, what the fuck? Something has happened to her. Her hair has turned the color of gold. It is bright and shiny as the sun. And the woman says, go on, get.
Pretty good. Get on out of here.
And she says, go with my blessing. And Aravat's like, what the fuck? And so, having narrowly escaped being fucking drowned to death by an old woman, she starts to, like, walk away. And she kind of just, like, in a daze, walks away from her sheep, and she's just, like, walking, soaking wet with this shining hair down, like, a forest path, like, shaking.
Did she get her comb back?
No.
Oh, no!
She's just traumatized. So as she's walking down this forest path, she's suddenly overtaken by a bunch of soldiers on horses. So the soldiers are riding under the king's orders because they have to find young girls to feed to the king's son.
Oh.
And they had spotted Aravat's bright hair walking down the path and thought, well, that'll do. Okay, so this is just like Li Chi, right? And the serpent. There's this is actually a lot like Li Chi. So here's a brief history lesson from the OG tale, okay? Years ago, the king hadn't been able to conceive an heir, and he was devastated by this. He tried everything in the world except for fucking his wife, as we know that fairy tale kings are wont to do. Mm-hmm. All he wanted in the whole world was to have a child, and it just wasn't happening. So one day, as he was walking through the woods, he saw a snake dad with a bunch of snake babies wriggling together in like a happy snake pile.
Aw.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
And to you.
And also unto your father.
And unto your father as well. And he said, quote, "Oh heaven, have I not so much value before you as this reptile, that you torment me by denying me offspring and happiness?"
Are you telling me that this snake's better than me?
You
telling me that this snake has better sperm than me?
I'll fucking prove it. Me and snake right now. Sperm off. He did have a child after that, of course. But just like Hans the Hedgehog, he had made a stupid deal. And now the snake came out half child, half reptilian monster.
Oh, like the Prince Lindworm, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is actually under the Prince Lindworm archetype.
Ooh.
Here's another quote from the OG tale. "They could not kill the monster because it was of royal birth. They therefore cast the dragon child into a dry well, where they fed him by giving him a skinful of goat's milk every day. Soon the dragon child grew and required meat for his diet. Then they cast to him every week a tender girl, and when he grew older, they gave him a maiden to devour." End quote. This might be because it was so short, but, like, it doesn't seem like they tried to just give him hamburgers or cereal.
No.
It seemed like they were like, oh, he's gross looking. I guess he eats human meat.
Yeah, that really doesn't... It really feels like they were like, well, we've tried nothing, and it hasn't worked. Guess we gotta start sacrificing toddlers.
And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And it just seems like also they were like, ew, he's so ugly and scaly, and they just threw him in a well. Mm-hmm. I just feel like this guy isn't the problem.
No.
Okay.
Feels like society's the problem. Maybe society should turn that mirror back on itself and see that where the real ugliness is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, society's gross.
Yeah. Society's a butterface.
Society has a real bangable body, but a real fucking ugly face. So the soldiers, we're back in our story now. The soldiers carried the golden-haired girl to the well, and they, like, dumped her unceremoniously inside and then left because they got better shit to do. When she hit the bottom of the well, she broke her tooth. But otherwise...
Did she land on her tooth?
No, she's on one tooth. Otherwise, she's okay. Even though she's having, like, the worst day ever. She's like, well, now I'm wet and I'm missing a tooth and I'm in a dry well. What a terrible day I'm having. So from the darkness at the bottom of the well, she hears a low growl as this dragon prince steps forward to devour this girl. When she sees him, though, she smiles at him and she reaches out her hand, because I think she might be stupid.
Puppy!
Oh, wow!
That's what I would do.
100%.
I'm very dumb.
She kind of, like, sighs and smiles and says, "Good evening, king's son." And she, like, reaches out and she puts her hand on his snout and she just kind of, like, nicely, like, pats him. And he starts to cry.
Oh, puppy.
I know. He literally just breaks down. Nobody has ever been nice to him in his whole life. And also, he's been forced to, like, eat live human girls.
Oh, no.
And so this fucking breaks him down. As tears run down his scales, and she's like, "Oh no, don't cry." She's just like, "I'm sorry." Every time it touches his, like, scales, they start to melt away until he has transformed into a handsome young man. Aww. It says, "He looks like everyone else, except he's very handsome." Like, that's like a line in the book. Everyone else but hot, including the face.
He also has a cloaca.
don't know why I thought you were going to say he also has a clitoris. Mm-hmm. Lucky bastard. So he gathered Sun Girl into his arms and he kissed her. And then he also then gave her a diamond to replace her broken tooth, which I guess she just popped into her gums. Unless there's like dental care down there. That's just there permanently, forever now.
Maybe one of the girls that he ate had like a diamond encrusted tooth.
Do you think he ate Snoop Dogg?
I do think that, yeah.
The prettiest girl in the well. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Doggy Dogg at the bottom of the well. 1, 2, 3 to the floor. Snoop Doggy Dogg. It broke his tooth on the floor. I'm gonna have a really hard time not imagining Sun Girl played by Snoop Dogg now. Well. When the king's soldiers came to check on how the feast was going, they were shocked and outraged to see that the young man and woman are just like holding each other at the bottom of this well. So they run, they tell the king, and he's overjoyed to know his kid is normal again. This feels to me like an allegory for homosexuality, right? Mm-hmm. Casting your child out and then only accepting them back when they have like found a woman to love.
Mm-hmm. That does feel like that.
Yeah. So he brought the two of them up from the well, and they were married immediately, because obviously, yeah, he's like, fuck it. The wedding banquet lasted for 7 days and 7 nights, and Sun Girl invited her father and stepmother to the wedding, and they partied, and they both acted like they were so happy, like the happiest they'd ever been. They're so proud of their little girl. However, the stepmother is evil.
Oh, no.
And she was pissed that Sun Girl had run away and managed to get so lucky, and now she's a blonde? Damn it. She didn't do anything to earn that blonde hair. So she decided to ruin things.
Sure. As you do.
So soon after the wedding, the stepmother invited Aravat to the river to do their washing together and to bond as mother and daughter do. And Dragon Prince was like, hey, dude, she's evil. We know that about her. So, like, please don't go anywhere alone with her. Yeah? Maybe you don't go. And Aravat's like, ha ha, you're so silly. No, I think my mom has changed, actually. Now, she has known this woman since she was 8 years old. And this is the first time this woman is, like, being nice to her. And I think she's like, maybe she respects me now that I'm married. And maybe we're going to have, like, a good relationship now. Like, she just wants to actually have a mom. And so she decides to go with her. When they were at the river, the stepmother's like, ooh, go look at that river. Is that a fish? And she's like, is what a fish? And then she just drop kicks her in the middle of the back. Like, Jesus. Launches her out into this rushing river. And Sun Girl is carried away by the current. And then the mom, like, you know, claps her hands off. And she's like, well, that'll do. And then she runs back like, oh no, Sun Girl drowned. And everyone's like, oh, that sucks. Who could have predicted this? And nobody investigates.
You didn't have anything to do with that, did you? And she's like, no. And they're like, fair enough. We believe you.
We all believe you. So Sun Girl does not drown. What if she did? What was that? What if that was the end of my story?
The end.
The end.
So then the prince turned back into a dragon and he ate her mom.
Yay, did. A dragon with a clitoris. That is important for the story. So Sun Girl did not drown. She grabbed onto a floating log for like dear life, and she's just carried for days. For 3 days and 3 nights, she's just being carried by this rushing current. Finally, she manages to like drag herself onto a riverbank, and she finds herself in a lonely desert. And she wandered in the hot sun for days without ever seeing another human. And she ate grass and bugs that she pulled from the hot earth with her grubby little fingers. And she just kind of roasted during the day and then froze during the night. But she continued walking because she had no choice. She had to see where she was. One day, she came to a little cave. The entry, another little cave. And the old lady's like, hi. Oh, no. What about this cave? Is it cleaner than your mom's asshole? Jesus. I'm in a mood. So one day she came to a little cave. The entryway was covered with like reeds and branches, like to make like a door, and it was pretty light fast. And so she kind of peered in, she moved them around, and she sees that there's a man sleeping inside of the cave. And not wanting to be rude, she sits down outside of the door and she just waits.
What?
Yeah, she's like, I mean, he's sleeping. I don't want to wake him up. So she just kind of waits outside.
For what?
Well, when the sun finally goes down, I think she's just waiting until he wakes up. But he stays asleep all day long. When the sun finally goes down, the man woke up and walked outside. And when he saw this, like, this woman with bright gold hair just, like, standing there looking probably sunburned to shit. She looks like a tornado. She looks like a tomato, and she's got, like, super bright blonde hair. And she's like, hi.
I was waiting for you while you were sleeping.
Yeah, I watched you sleep all day. When he sees
You're a sleeper.
he screams. Because she's startling. And he says, are you a fairy, a demon, or a human being? Disclose yourself. Which, again, is my dream. That's the only way I'll be happy is if a man thinks that I'm not human. In, like, a hot way.
Yeah.
So the girl told him that she was a woman. A human woman. And then she's like, let me tell you my story. And then she tells him, like, the wildest fucking story anyone's ever said. And then she smiles at him and her gold tooth, like, her diamond tooth just, like, bing. In, like, the moonlight. And so, after she finished telling him her bonkers story, he sits down and he shakes his head and he says, well, that's a crazy story. I bet mine is weirder.
Oh, word?
And then he starts to tell her his story. So, he told her that he was the son of a very rich man, and his favorite pastime when he was younger was hunting. And so, all day, every day, that's all he wanted to do. He'd just go out and he'd hunt. One day, though, he had a string of bad luck that lasted for 3 whole days in a row. He didn't see a single animal to shoot, and it was starting to really piss him off. And so on day 3, he threw a goddamn fit, and he pointed his arrow up towards the sun and said, I'm gonna kill the fucking sun. I don't even fucking care if everyone is in darkness. And he pulls his arrow back, and he shoots it, right at the sun. But no sooner had he let his arrow fly, that, like... This is, quote, I felt a blazing palm slap me in the face. A hand of fire took hold of my hair and cast me into this wilderness, and I heard an angry voice thundering at me from the overhanging clouds, declaring that I was cursed and should never see the light of the sun anymore.
Sun's got hands.
You're gonna find out the sun wasn't the one who did that.
Oh, no.
So.
Sun's got shooters.
100%. Spur him off, me and the sun.
No.
Me, the sun, and the snake. So now he's cursed to never see the sun. He's like, if I see the sun, I'm going to die a horrible death, like a vampire. Oh. So he's cursed to sleep during the day in his cave with like the light blocking reeds. And he only hunts at night. And he can never feel the sun on his skin. And he's like deeply depressed over it. Very melancholy, like Dracula.
Like some kind of Dracula.
He's like some kind of Dracula. After they had talked for a long time, he's like, well, I guess I'm not going to get any hunting done tonight. And he like looks around, he goes, you want to come in? And she's like, yeah. So he brings her into his house and he's like, this is the place. It is a cave. She's like, nice.
This is my curtain. It's a blackout curtain. It's medically prescribed.
It's made of leaves.
Please don't touch it.
Stop touching it. Why are you still touching it? And she's like, oh, nice.
This is my sleep apnea machine.
That's the bathroom corner. So she decides to stay with him. And they get along well. So
he decides that that's fine.
And he decides he has no choice. Years passed. Like, they stayed together for years.
Why?
And because they end up kind of falling in love. I don't know if they fall in love or if they're just like, we're the only 2 humans here. So they start fucking. They just like live like husband and wife do. Every night, he would wake up and hunt for them, and every morning he'd go to sleep in his dark cave, and so she was, like, alone during the day. And Aravat spent her days walking kind of lonely through the desert. She would explore, and she'd sing songs about her sad life to no one. And after 3 years together, they had a baby boy.
Aw.
I know. They were very happy with their healthy baby boy, but Aravat was worried about him, because this was no life for a baby. She wanted her child to grow up in a better environment than a dark cave with a depressed father.
I'm also picturing the 2 of them. She is, like, just skin so sun damaged,
yeah,
right?
She's like a leather couch.
Yeah. And she has bright, like, peroxide white hair. It's, like, gold. She has a single diamond tooth. And then he hasn't seen the sun in years. He is the color of a hard-boiled egg.
Yes.
He has, like, huge dark circles under his eyes.
You can see his bones through the skin of his hands. They're all blue.
And she's just covered in sand from hanging out in the desert all the time.
Yeah, they, and their baby is just like, huh. That's it. Normal baby.
Yeah, I'm picturing, like, your standard white boy twink vampire, and then also a female version of Donnie from the Wild Thornberries.
That's 100% what it is.
Yep.
Except that it's also played by Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Okay. So one night, she has a dream that her dead mother came to her and told her to put on iron shoes and walk west. That's another iron shoe story.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, she would find the cure for vampirism.
What? Oh, he is a vampire.
Oh, no, I'm just calling him a vampire. He's just a vampire, though. Eventually, she'd find a cure for this vampire caveman, and then she would free herself. So when she woke up, she put on iron shoes. Don't ask where she got them, okay? Maybe she went to the store.
At the iron shoe store.
She went to the iron shoe store, which is the only store in the desert. She strapped her baby to her back.
Wait. Designer iron shoe warehouse. DISW.
Pay less iron shoe store. For your discount iron shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Lady iron shoes locker. When she woke up, she put on her iron shoes. Or she went out and got iron shoes. I have no idea.
Counterpoint, sorry. I will get past this eventually, but lady foot lockers. They're lockers for your feet.
Oh, they totally are.
Yeah, lady foot lockers.
Lady foot lockers. She strapped her baby to her back and she started walking west because she couldn't just leave this baby with this man. Give me the book.
No.
I'll show you the picture that Trina Schartheimen drew for this. It is quite good. Catherine Crackernuts is in this as well, by the way.
Cracker nuts, I hardly know her nuts.
You proud?
Nope.
Why can't... Oh, there's a Vasilisa story in here, too.
Ooh.
I really like this picture.
Oh, I love it. She looks crazy.
She does look crazy. Yeah, they did not go out of their way to make her like a Norwegian princess.
I like that she has on like gladiator sandals that are made of iron.
These are her iron gladiator sandals. They don't look comfortable. They look giant. They stand out. She has her baby strapped to her back. There's some like traditional little embroidery on the skirt.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little disappointed in these shoes, if I'm being honest, because I was picturing iron Crocs.
We can always make those adjustments. Okay, so she puts on her iron shoes, which again, I said this before. I think that the point of the iron shoes is that you know how far to walk because they start to wear out. So you have to walk a really, really, really long time to wear out iron shoes, but you'll know you're getting close when they do start to wear out, kind of thing.
Plus, you also don't have to buy shoes that whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cost effective.
Now, she is in the desert. Those iron shoes are going to heat up.
Yeah, but I mean, if you burn your feet off, then you don't even need to buy shoes.
That's true. Oh,
that's a penny pincher.
That's a life hack.
Yeah.
If you're poor, try that. So she straps her baby to her back. She starts walking west. She walks and she walks and she walks until her iron shoes are completely worn down to holes. And at last, she came to a beautiful palace made from blue marble. She entered the gate, and she walked through beautiful courtyards, through, quote, 12 golden arches, so bright it hurt her eyes to look at them, end quote. There were shimmering pools and gorgeous fountains, and in the center of everything, there's a golden pavilion surrounded by floating stars. And under the pavilion, Aravat saw a woman who was taller than the tallest pine tree, lounging on a bed of pearls. And the sun girl was terrified and started to fucking run away. And This woman reaches out an arm and just like scoops her back up and is like, no, 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 no. She says, you know, you've come all this way. You walked until your shoes were all worn out for a reason. It'd be a shame to turn back now before telling me what you want. And the sun girl's like, okay. Well, she like slowly, without taking her eyes off this woman, unstraps her baby from her back, and then she just holds her baby out in front of her, and she's like, look at my baby. And the lady's like, oh, nice. What are you doing? And she's like, look at him. And she's like, good baby.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
You just wanted to show me your baby?
Pretty good.
And Aravat says, this is my baby. His dad is cursed because he tried to kill the sun, and I'd love it if you could lift that curse, because honestly, it's a real bummer. Also, look at my baby.
Look at him. Look at him.
He's the captain now. So the woman listened, and she's like, well, I'm a mother too. I'm the mother of the sun. The son is my only child. And Aravat's like, this is my only child, and his father can never see the son because the son is mad at him. And the mother of the son says, no, I'm mad at him.
Oh.
She was the one who bitch slapped him when he tried to shoot her kid.
Hilarious. I love it.
Yes. And so she's like, listen, your husband tried to kill my only son with an arrow. So he had to be punished. So I don't know what you want me to do. And Sun Girl's like, he learned his lesson. He's sorry. But also, this is affecting our life. We have a baby. Please lift this curse. Please tell me how to do it. So the mother of the son tells her, this is a quote that I really liked, "Many an unworthy man has enjoyed the blessings of the sun because of a mother's loving heart." Which I'm like, ain't that the truth? Just like many an undeserving man is here to cause fucking problems because their moms were good and kept them alive.
Mm-hmm. With regrets, I must inform you that I do have a crush on the giant pearl woman.
I don't know if that's a regret, because so do I. She's hot as hell. I love this giant pearl mommy. So she instructed Aravat. She's like, okay, but you know what? I get what you're saying, and sure, I'll help you lift the curse. And so she instructed Aravat to hide behind the stars, because the sun is going to come home soon, and his light would burn her and her baby to ashes. The sun was forever young, forever newly born, which meant that every time he returned from his journey around the world, he would dip his body into the pool at the base of the pavilion, and then would become a baby again. And his mom would pick him up and then nurse him at her breast, and then they would start the cycle again. So the sun is reborn every day.
I'm picturing the son coming home in a suit with a briefcase and being like, "Oh, long day. You wouldn't believe it. Baby mode," and then just becoming a baby.
And he becomes boss baby. Same suit, same briefcase.
The suit's way too big. And he's like, "I'll go into it." And she's like, you've made this joke every day since the beginning of time, and it's not funny.
I'm getting too old for this. She says, "Arvat, wait until he's a baby. And when I pick him up and I start to nurse him, then you can slip out, you can gather some of the water from the pool, and then run out of the castle of the sun. And then when you get back to your cave, sprinkle that water onto your vampire caveman, and the curse is going to be broken." So Arvat does that. She ran with her baby to the pool and then grabbed the water and then ran all the way home. The sun was shining when she slipped back into her cave, and she dumped the water over her sleeping husband just in one fell swoop. Just dump. He wakes up sputtering and confused, and he's like, why?
Where did you go?
She dragged.
You've been gone for months, if not years.
Yes. He is sputtering. He's confused. He's disoriented. He's like, what the hell? And then she drags him out of the cave, I'm assuming by his ankle, just drags him out into the sun. And he's like, no. But when they get out there and he's eyes closed, all tensed up, he opens his eyes and he sees that he hasn't burned up, and he's like, oh my God. And he starts to go crazy. He's so happy, and he just dances and laughs, and everything is so happy. He laughs so hard that the desert suddenly sprang to life. It is now a lush and fertile valley. Okay. People all over the world learned of the hunter being cured of his curse, and of the desert turning into a green valley, and of the woman who traveled to the castle of the sun and back again. And so eventually, people were coming to visit, they wanted to see everything. And the story got back to the Dragon Prince, who had never stopped loving and mourning his wife, the Sun Girl. So he traveled to their little house, because also they were like, this woman, she has golden hair and all this stuff. And they was like, this sounds a lot like my wife. And so he travels to their little house, and he saw his lost love with her shining gold hair and her sparkling diamond tooth.
And he goes up to the vampire caveman and is like, hey, you fuck my wife?
You fuck my wife? So she's so happy to see him. She ends up inviting him to stay the night, which must be awkward. They do live in a cave. I'm assuming it's a 1-bedroom cave, but who knows? I mean, I'm sure prices of homes back then was way better than what we have now, but still.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably a 1-bedroom, and then there's an office that they're like, it technically could be a bedroom, but it really can't. You can't fit a queen-size bed in there.
Now, this is the toilet corner. So she invites him to stay the night, and the next day she says that she and her baby and her hunter would take him out to the valley to show him everything that had grown. So this is from the OG tale. Now I'm skipping back to the original. The hunter and the dragon prince wanted to be rivals. The dragon prince went there to be like, that's my woman.
You fuck my wife?
And the hunter was like, oh, no, that's my woman. But then they met each other, and they fucking loved each other. They were like, damn it, you're cool.
I love it.
Yeah, they were just really friendly guys who were like, this sucks. I wanted to hate you, man. They cracked a beer and they just really got along. And they also had respect for each other. They knew that this was nobody's fault, except for the stepmother that had done this. They were like, she didn't plan this. She couldn't just sit around and die in the desert. And it's not our fault we fell in love in this cave. It's not your fault that you guys fell in love with, this sucks. And so they decided to solve their problems in a more friendly and fairy tale way. They roasted salt meat. They had a nice dinner.
They ate jerky.
They ate the baby. Oh my god. Okay, so they roasted salt meat, and they gave it to Aravat, but they did not give her any water. The next day, they went out riding, and each of the men brought a pitcher of water with them. And whoever she asked for water from would be her husband. They're like, that's how we're going to decide. Whoever she's like, I'm thirsty, can I have some water? Then that's who she goes with.
This is the marital equivalent of when a couple gets a divorce and they have to decide which person takes the dog, and they like sit on opposite sides of the room with dog treats, be like, come here.
And Aravat's like, just going back and forth nervously. Eventually, she did get super thirsty, but not wanting to offend either of them, she didn't say anything until she was so dehydrated that she was about to die. And so finally, she got off her horse and she called them both to her. And then she looked from like guy to guy, and then she like sighed and she said, okay, Hunter, come here. And he's like, okay. And so he like excitedly holds out the water, and she Uno reversed that shit, handed him the baby and said, this is yours, good luck. And then she jumped on the dragon prince's horse and they rode off into the sunset.
God.
And that's how the story ends.
Wild.
That was my favorite. I almost didn't tell this story because I was like, this is a lot of themes we've had before, but we've never had a story where the mom's like, this is yours. Peace.
Wild. I would like to pitch an alternate ending to you.
Sure. Except I don't accept it because that's my favorite ending I think I've ever read. But go ahead.
She's like, Hunter, come here. And he's like, what's up? And she's like, can I hold this water? And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, Dragon Prince, can you come here? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, can I hold your water? And he's like, yeah. And then she pours the pitchers, like, combines them, and then they all make out. Pretty good, huh?
Pretty good. And then they drop kick that baby into the sun so that the son's mom now has two babies.
Big congrats to the son's mom.
Honestly, mommy. Okay. So, this is how the original version, this is the last line of that, which I really liked. Thus their trouble ended, and they attained their wishes. May all who are afflicted find consolation. 3 apples fell from heaven, one for me, one for the storyteller, and one for him who entertained the company. That's the ending.
And now I have 3 apples.
I was all 3 of them. I'm alone in a padded cell.
But I got lots of apples.
Okay. So this story is from the Serpent Slayer, and this is sourced in the back on where they found their stories that they got from. And so the author of this book found it in Apples of Immortality, Folktales of Armenia, which is a 1968 book by Leon Sermelian. The original version, from The Golden Maiden and Other Folktales and Fairy Stories Told in Armenia by A.G. Seclemian. That's wild. Sermelian and Seclemian. Maybe that's not wild in Armenia. It's pretty wild last names for here. They're fairly similar. Anyway, includes a stepsister who was disguised as the sun girl in a white bride, black bride sort of trope, you know? Like the stepmother was like, no, they look kind of alike. And so she had her daughter pretend to be the sun girl. There's no punishment listed at the end of that story for the stepsister or the stepmother, which to me makes the story feels a little unfinished. You know, like, we don't get the whole, then they took the stepmother and dragged her into hell.
Yeah.
Like, nothing. We have no idea what happens to her. I'm not mad about it, though. Because, to be honest, I'm kind of tired of all these women being torn apart by horses.
Yeah.
There is a version called Dragon Child and Sun Child, which is a version where she is not the sun girl, but the hunter in the cave is called the Sun Child. And so when the Dragon Child and the Sun Child meet, that's who she's deciding between, which I thought is kind of like a Bella from Twilight situation with Edward and Jacob, right? Like, the Dragon Child is 100% Jacob. This story is Team Jacob.
Woof.
And also in the OG version, Sunchild's mom is the one who pleads with the sun's mother. So the hunter, is the one, he's dying because he saw the sun and was cursed. And so she then travels, and from like mother to mother, they strike a bargain. And the sun mother is like, okay, fine, I'll lift the curse. So it's not the sun girl at all. So this book is about strong women. So clearly they took some liberties and they made it so that the main character throughout the whole thing is the sun girl, and she has like a full journey. She's the one that goes to the sun mother. Like, she does everything.
Yeah, she has more agency.
Yeah, and then she yeets her baby at the end and then goes off with her lover. So yeah, that is the Dragon Prince and Sun Girl.
Wow. Pretty good.
Pretty fun, right?
I appreciate the fact that there's a dragon prince in that story who is a dragon for very little of the story. And also the fact that there are dragons is not addressed beyond that.
Nope. No, not at all. Also, that they continue to call him Dragon Prince. Mm-hmm. He has no other name. But it's kind of fun. Okay. Do you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we'll be right back in like 10 seconds. Goodbye.
Okay, Janey.
Okay, Max.
Janey, okay. The story that I have for you today is called The Stolen Veil. This is a German story.
Beautiful.
Last week, I told the story of The White Duck, mm-hmm. which is a Russian story that is one of the inspirations for the story of Swan Lake, the ballet. Mm-hmm. I mentioned it last week, but I wanted to tell the story of Swan Lake, and I found out Swan Lake is not a folk tale that became a ballet. It was just written as a ballet. Mm-hmm. So I'm going into a couple of the stories that inspired the ballet. And then on our bonus episode for our Patreon patrons for this month, I'm going to tell the story of Swan Lake and incorporate like the inspirations that you can see from these two stories that I'm telling last week and this week.
I'm genuinely excited to hear that.
Thanks. I'm really excited about it too. I have already done my research for Swan Lake, and it's interesting. So the story of Swan Lake is really interesting and really cool. And again, if you would like to listen to that episode, you can join us on Patreon at the $7 tier mm-hmm. to get access to that episode, which will be our bonus episode for July.
Mm-hmm. It's going to drop the first Monday of July.
Yes. But having read Swan Lake, The Stolen Veil is, first of all, much longer. And also, I think it's a very different story in a lot of ways that I think are really cool.
Okay.
So this is The Stolen Veil, collected by Johann Karl August Musaus in Volksmärchen der Deutschen, which is Folktales of the Germans, in 1787. Mm-hmm. I'm going to mention that later. That's a spoiler. Get out of here. You're supposed to be at the end of the story.
You're not supposed to know that it's in 1837. Spoiler alert.
So this is a little bit of a monster of a tale, so I'm just going to get freaking going.
I'm excited.
All right. In the mountains near Zwickau, which is a city that was in Germany. I think it's no longer a city anymore. There is a pond that is since mostly dried up. It's in the mountains. It's called the Schwanenteich, which is literally
Swan Lake?
Yeah. It's the Lake of Swans. It's on the Field of Swans. And the water in this pond is magical. It has magical properties. Mm-hmm. And the story, I loved reading this story because... Oh, I also should have said this at the beginning. Okay. I couldn't find a free English translation of the story online. Mm-hmm. I was able to find a free version of the German text, and I just used an automatic translator. I just used Google Translate to automatically translate the entire page. Okay. So this is actually, I think this is the first time I've done this for the podcast. I've read a work completely in translation that wasn't like a human translation.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of things where like the phrasing is a little bit weird and stuff like that. But honestly, it was communicated to English very well. I was expecting to be much harder to track.
Yeah.
And I was going to have to make more logical leaps. But honestly, the automatic translation was pretty accurate.
Nice.
And some of the turns of phrase in it are gorgeous.
Okay.
Which is very cool.
You know
Not
what
I was expecting.
Max is pro AI. She would like everyone to know she thinks that AI art is real art.
Automatic machine translation is not the same as AI. Machine translation is informed by actual translators.
I can't blame Max, as she's saying this, is typing on her phone looking for AI artists.
Yep. It's true. I hate paying living artists, as everyone knows.
Everyone knows that. So you wear that hat all the time.
Yeah, I hate paying living artists. And also it's misspelled because it was automatically generated.
And it has too many fingers, which even one finger is too many fingers for that hat.
So there's this pond, and it's a magical pond. The water has magical properties. And within the story, they talk about all of the things that it is more magical than. It's like, now listen, we know you've heard about magical ponds before with magical water. This one is better than all of those other ponds.
Mm-hmm.
It says, it is the true beauty oil, more effective than the rejuvenating ointment of the enigmatic St. Aymar, stronger than the May dew, more cleansing than donkey's milk or the wash water a la Pompadour invented to preserve licentious charms, more delicious than the called talc stone oil, which is like a weird translation, some kind of like beauty-giving oil that is like high in the mountains elsewhere.
You think it's radium oil?
No, I don't think that.
All right.
And so it's like, we know that you've heard like the Fountain of Youth stuff elsewhere. This one's better than all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the trick is, you might be wondering if this pond works so well, why you haven't heard about it.
Yeah.
It only works if you are descendant of fairies.
Oh.
So anyone who is descended from fairies can go to this pond. And every year on the summer solstice, between spring and summer, they go in the water and it keeps them young and beautiful, and it grants them eternal life, so long as every year they go to this pond, right?
So if they miss a year, then it won't work again?
If they miss a year, then they'll age for that year. I'm not sure if they can go back again after.
How many generations are we talking?
A lot.
Like 10 generations after you could still... You still have enough fairy blood, or you're just like, I
don't know. They don't explain the rules that carefully.
You have to be at least 1/16th fairy in order to enjoy this magic water.
So, the pond is only useful to the people who already know about it, basically. Mm-hmm. People who are descended of fairy blood. Near the pond, though, there's a hermitage, a little hut that is home to a man named Benno, who is a hermit and a holy man.
Okay.
He came many years ago on a pilgrimage. Few people remember because it's been so long. He built his little hut and he planted a garden around it. And it has all of these beautiful fruit trees and like grapevines. He has a whole little like vineyard. And he also has melon plants, which were at this time like very, very rare and like a delicacy. So he has this huge, beautiful garden that he cares for. He lives up in the mountains near this lake. People come to him from the nearby areas for spiritual advice and to like seek absolution for their sins and things like that. They go to him for confession. He's just a very kind older man that everyone, very much loves and trusts. He is older, though, and he continues to get older, which is how things normally work.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he part fairy?
No, he's not.
Yeah, so...
So he's getting older, and he has this massive and beautiful garden that it's becoming more and more difficult for him to keep up with. Mm-hmm. So for a couple of years, he's been looking for an assistant, someone to come in and help him tend to the garden and everything like that. Especially because he's an old man. He really, he needs someone around the house to help him when on his sort of worst days. But because he's lived in solitude for so long, he doesn't trust quickly. Mm-hmm. So most of the people that are like, I'll help, he's like, no. Thanks, though.
You just want to smoke my weed. I can tell.
I can tell.
No.
So nearby to this hermitage, there is a battle. And also, I didn't look up any of these factions or terms. Mm-hmm. I'm very worried about it because I am worried that some of these are racist terms.
Okay. That's fair.
I did not... This is such a massive story that I just did not have time to research this, so I apologize if this is historically, politically incorrect.
Okay, I'm just imagining you just dropping the N-word. You're like, I'm sorry if this is not correct, and then just saying the worst shit. It's like, well, damn. Nice.
No, these are all terms for, like, cultural groups within like Germany and Switzerland and like that kind of thing, which is like so divisive also. And I do not know enough about the history to be sure of like what is correct. Yeah. But so there's a battle between the Meißners and the Swabians. The Meißners are from the area the Swabians are sort of invading. Mm-hmm. And the Swabians, partway through the battle, it becomes very clear that they are losing. Mm-hmm. And so as happens in battle, the Swabian soldiers are kind of like, oh, we gotta get the fuck out of here before this gets really bad.
Retreat!
Yeah, so all of them kind of desert. It's like every man for himself. Mm-hmm. And there's this group of 7 soldiers who breaks off together, and they run through the forest away from the battle, and they run until they can't run anymore. They all collapse in this huge field, and they determine that it would be more dangerous for them to continue. It is now night. Mm-hmm. They're like, it's going to be more dangerous for us to continue than it is for us to just like camp out here for the night, and then we'll keep going tomorrow morning. Yeah. So they're in this field, and they look across the field, and they see that there's this, it's described as an oven. It's like sounds like it's like a hut, kind of. Like, it's like small house size, but it's an oven that like people go to. Oh, yeah. Yeah, almost like a I don't know.
There's communal stoves here in Savannah. When we first had there, like Johnson Square was set up where the fountains are. They were communal stoves that people would come up and use those as like whole communities.
I didn't know that.
It's because having things like that in the houses was dangerous because there's always so many fires and the houses were so close together that like having one fire would be detrimental. So they had community ovens.
True. I love it.
Yeah.
So there's just this community oven out in a field by, they assume, by like a nearby town. And it's not the safest thing, but again, they're like, we can't go any further, and this will at least like hide us from view in case the Meissners come looking for us, basically.
Yeah.
So these 7 soldiers go into this like oven area, which is enclosed, and they all pass out because they are exhausted from the battle and from running. And they determine that they have to get up before dawn so that they can get going and everything. And then all of them fall asleep. And they all sleep through the dawn. Oh. They sleep well into the morning.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, a peasant woman from one of the local villages comes out to bake her morning bread and finds 7 men in the oven building and takes a closer look at their clothes and sees that they are wearing the tattered regalia of Swabians. And this is an area that has been war-torn by Swabian invasion.
Yeah.
And so she goes back to the village and she gathers up all of the widows.
Oh, shit.
And like the fathers of boys who've been killed in the war.
Yeah.
And just collects together this mob of people. And they take like forks and garden tools and they go out to this field. And it says that like they acknowledge that like these men may not have done anything wrong. They could just be soldiers, but they're determined that like someone has to pay for the destruction that has been wrought upon their village.
Scary.
Yeah. So they go out to this oven and they yell outside until the soldiers wake up, and the soldiers like throw themselves at the villagers' feet and they're like, we're really sorry, we will do anything, but like we can't change what happened.
Yeah.
Like and the villagers beat the shit out of them, stab them so much.
Oh, shit.
Until they are all dead.
God damn it.
All 7 of the soldiers lay dead in the field, and the villagers return triumphant to the village, having gained some sense of control over themselves and their lives.
Having just fucking...
And also done a big group murder.
Yes.
But back in the field, there were 7 bloodied bodies laying. But the 7th, 6 of them were super dead.
Yeah.
The 7th, though, was a little bit smarter than the other ones. And so when all of the chaos had started, he hid underneath of the bodies of his comrades. Oh. So that there was just this pile of bodies and he was like hidden inside. And also a big part of this happened, like the soldiers were pushed into the oven. So they were kind of like fish in a barrel a little bit, where they were stuck inside and the peasants were just outside stabbing them through the windows and through the door and everything like that. So he's like in this enclosed space covered in bodies. He waits until he can't hear anyone anymore, and then he crawls out of the oven in shock, horrified at what has happened. And he wanders...
This might be the most violent beginning of any story you've ever told.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
So he kind of dazed, he wanders into the forest nearby, trying to get some semblance of cover and also get away from the bodies of his comrades. And he wanders in the forest for a while until he becomes too tired to keep walking, and he collapses underneath of a tree. And he waits there for a while. He just sits and like recovers for a minute, and then he sees close by that there is an older man who is sitting in front of like a humble cross made of sticks and wearing a long robe, and he is praying before this cross.
Okay.
And so he identifies that this is, a holy man here for his daily devotions. And like driven by the horror of what he has just seen, as well as just needing to feel like anything is ever okay, he approaches this older man and he kneels down beside him and he starts praying. And when the older man is finished with his prayer, he stands up and he blesses the soldier, the man beside him. And the soldier is like, thank you for that. And the old man is like, well, why don't you tell me what happened? Because there's this soldier, tattered clothes,
covered in blood.
Just blood
like
and
a
like
carry level of blood, stumbling
blood
through an
and
open
dirt.
field.
Yeah, so he's like, why
muttering
don't you
to
tell me
himself.
what happened? And so the Swabian soldier tells him what happened, right? And the hermit is like, well, it sounds like you don't have a whole lot of friends right now.
The fact that they speak the same language is really making me feel emotional about this.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it mentions that the hermit speaks a bunch of languages that are unusual to this area. I'll get into it later.
Okay. I thought because they were like they were throwing themselves at the villagers' feet and stuff like that. I was like, God, they all speak the same language.
I'm pretty sure that they do.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that they do, but also the hermit speaks a bunch of different languages. Benno.
He is a Rosetta Stone.
Mm-hmm. So the hermit is like, why don't you come back to my hut? I'll make sure that you have a safe place to sleep for the night. And the soldier is very hesitant to do that.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets into, like, if the trees get too close, he starts having flashbacks of being trapped in the oven with all of these people being murdered. And
it's
like,
so sad.
It really, this is also one of the first stories that I have read where it has like a specific description of like PTSD.
This feels like history too. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing about this that really feels like a fairy tale so far, except for like the little it feels like magical realism.
Yeah.
Like this could have been written by Gabriel Garcia Marquez or
sure.
Isabel Allende.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, 100%. So he gets back to the hermit's hut and he is like sitting in a chair at the table while the hermit makes him some bread and vegetables and gets him water and everything. And he's sitting at this table and he's just jumpy and he keeps looking at the walls and he like can't calm down. And finally, like they sit down for dinner and the hermit is just very quiet and very patient with him. And he's like, there's a bed here if you would like a bed for the night.
Take a shower first.
Yeah. He does get him all cleaned off. It says that like he washes his feet and like washes out his clothes and everything like that. And he's like, there's a bed here if you'd like to stay the night. And the soldier is very hesitant about this, but he's also exhausted.
Yeah.
And so he ends up passing out on this little pallet of hay in the corner of the hermit's hut.
Mm-hmm.
He stays with the hermit for a while. And eventually he's like, I guess I have to go home. Like, I don't want to impose on you anymore. And like this, you know, I should probably get back home. And the hermit, Benno, is like, well, I do need some help around the house. So if you wanted to stay, then, you know, you could be my assistant. And that would be okay. And the soldier, whose name is Friedbert, is relieved at this.
Yeah.
And so he happily throws himself into the tasks of caring for the garden with the hermit and caring for the hermit himself. He cooks for the hermit and for the pilgrims that come to the hermitage. Mm-hmm. And he cleans up the little hut and everything like that. And the two of them become fast friends. And Benno, the hermit, effectively, like, adopts this man.
Becomes his dad.
100%.
This is so sweet, so sad.
So that year, the spring-summer solstice comes, and Benno is like, for the summer, as part of one of your tasks, I need you to go to the pond that's close by and just tell me if there are swans there. Like, how many, how they're doing, when they get there, when they leave. It's going to be great. And Friedbert is like, yeah, sure, whatever, no questions.
Yeah.
Because why would you ask? And so he, every day during this like spring, summer solstice period, Friedbert goes out and he does his chores and he keeps an eye on this lake. And sometimes he sees swans arriving, and then a couple of hours later towards sunset, he'll see them flying away again, and he'll report back to Benno and say, you know, oh, there were 6 swans on the lake today. They were, you know, they left pretty quickly, and whenever he reports back that he's seen swans, Benno is delighted.
Yeah.
And then there are some days when he just doesn't see swans, and he comes back and he's like, none today, and Benno is disappointed every time. And again, Friedbert has a full day, and so he doesn't really think about this too much.
Yeah, he just likes swans.
Yeah, he's like, my buddy just likes swans. I'm here for it.
My buddy just likes swans.
But one day in the summertime, Friedbert comes back and he's like, there were so many swans today. It was gorgeous. And Benno is like, I am so glad to hear that. And sort of to celebrate, he's in a very good mood. Benno makes a big, beautiful feast for dinner. And they eat and they drink and they have a couple glasses of wine and then they have a couple more glasses of wine. And Benno, for the first time that Friedbert has known him, gets like a little sloshed. And he's like drinking his wine and he's like laughing and singing these drinking songs. He's like this quiet old hermit man is like suddenly very like
letting loose.
Yeah. And they're having a great time. And so they get a little bit drunk. They stay up a little bit too late. And there's like a lull in the conversation. And Benno's like, so, you a virgin?
Benno! You fucking virgin?
He's like, you ever loved a woman? Have you ever loved a
Benno,
woman or
have
had
you?
sex with a woman? And Friedbert's like, oh my God, Benno, stop. And
Dad!
Benno's like, you can tell me. If you tell me, I'll tell you. And Friedbert's like, oh my God. And Benno's like, come on, just tell me, like, is there, like, a girl at home who's crying because she thinks you're dead or whatever?
Oh, God. Friedberg's like, oh, no, the flashbacks.
Oh, no. And Freebert's like, well, I joined the army when I was, like, a boy. He describes it, he was like, I had only my milk hairs on my chin. I had not yet the curly hairs of a grown man. So he's like, so no women ever paid me any mind, you know, and I didn't really have an opportunity once I joined the army.
Because he's just a baby. He hasn't had
baby.
any experience, and now he's all traumatized.
Yeah, he's a poor baby.
This is the type of man that I like.
Oh, no.
I mean, traumatized, not without experience. I just like a guy with, like, a healthy sheen of PTSD on him. Let me be your safe space. That's what I want as a person.
Oh, that's Janey's red flag.
That's honestly, I think my biggest red flag is that I will ignore all other red flags if you tell me you had a sad childhood.
So Freebert's like, no, like, I've never really liked a girl or anything, and, like, they've never really liked me, so it's just never happened. Mm-hmm. And Benno is like, well, you're a really hard worker, you've helped me a lot in the past couple of years. If I could, like, grant one wish for you, it would be for you to find love, you know. It would be to wish you luck in finding love, because that's the best thing that can happen. And, you know, it changes your life. And Friedbert's like, sure. And Benno's like, certainly changed my life. You might think that I came here because I love God or whatever. Super not. It was because I had a crush on a girl. And Friedbert's like, oh my God, you became a hermit because you were in love with someone? And Benno's like, yeah.
That's not a smart way to go about that, sir.
Oh, Benno.
Benno.
And so Benno launches into this story of where he came from.
Okay.
Benno was once a handsome French knight.
Ooh, okay.
He was...
Ooh la la, as they say.
Benno was once a very handsome French knight who, like, he would fight any man, he would love any woman, just a real scamp in France. And when, at one point, he was in love with a woman, and a priest, quote unquote, stole this woman away from him. And he describes it as, like, this priest tricked the woman that Benno loved into being unfaithful.
Okay.
And so they had a gentlemanly duel, and Benno killed the priest.
Yeah.
As a result, he had to go to the Pope to, like, beg forgiveness and absolution of this crime.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And the Pope was like, ah!
And the Pope said that he had to go do some crusades about it.
Yeah.
3, to be precise.
You're gonna do 3 crusades about it? Listen, your priest is out here fucking.
So the Pope says, just do, like, 100 Hail Marys and 3 crusades really quickly. Just go to the Holy Land and defeat the Saracens. And if you die in the process, then the church gets all of your possessions. Anyways, good luck. Bye! So,
you know, this reminds me of one time when I was in confession. And, no, I'm kidding. I was never allowed to do
You got sent on crusades?
And I was sent on a crusade. That's how I found all those witches.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Benno boards a galley from Venice and is, like, prepared to go off on his crusades. But his ship is blown off course and is wrecked on a beach off of Greece.
Oh,
so he never
lovely.
actually...
Benno, you're going to love it there.
I know, right?
Yeah. He wouldn't have crashed in a better country.
Yeah, he didn't even get close to, like, the Holy Land or whatever.
Yeah.
He was in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece. And he was stuck out in the water, and he specifically says, he's like, and I didn't know how to swim. So I really should have died. But he describes it as his guardian angel took him by the forelock, so, like, by the front of his hair, and held his head above water so that he wouldn't drown. And then eventually he washes ashore on the coast of Greece. And he wanders around until he meets some people, and they're like, oh, you look like you've just been in a shipwreck. And he's like, yeah. And they take care of him.
You should see the other guy. As he, like, spits out
and then he gestures
water.
at the ocean.
He's, like, picking barnacles off his shoulder.
So they bring Benno in, and they, like, help him get cleaned up and everything. And then they're like, you should talk to the leader of this area, because he might be able to help you. So they bring him to the leader of this area. This is a dumb thing that bothered me. They're like, this is our little duchy here in Greece, and we're going to bring you to the leader of the duchy, the prince. not the Duke. It's like, that's bullshit. That's stupid. Not a duchy then.
What's a duchy?
A duchy is an area of land that is ruled over by a duke and duchess.
Oh.
Yeah. So like...
Wait, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
They call it a duchy because of the duchess and the duke?
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious. What if we called Washington, D.C. like the president-y? The Prezi. The Prezi.
I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I know that in Russian, so in like Cyrillic roots, they have what's called a dacha, which is like an area of land outside of the city that you like winter in, right?
Okay.
I think it probably comes from the same root of like just a large area of land.
So you think it might not have anything to do with the Duke and Duchess?
It is the Duke and Duchess.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a parcel of land granted to the Duke and Duchess, and that unit of land is called a duchy.
Can't the prince also be a duke, though? Isn't, like, Prince William the duke? Yeah, and Kate Middleton is the Duchess.
Oh.
I think that the
makes
prince
sense.
and the prince can't be a duke. We're American, okay? Stop rolling your eyes at us.
We're trying our best.
We hear you saying, "Oh, Americans, we get it. Leave us alone. We're so pretty."
So they bring Benno before the prince of this area, Prince Zeno.
Mm-hmm. Benno and Zeno?
I think so.
Did they fall in love?
No.
Oh.
It might be Zeno. I don't know.
Okay.
Zeno feels less silly than Zeno.
Xena's son.
Mm-hmm. Zeno. So they bring Benno before Prince Zeno, and Prince Zeno is immediately disposed to help this guy out because he loves the French. So he's like, "You're French? Hang out forever. Come move into my house." He gives him anything he needs. And so Benno is like welcomed into the castle and everything. Shortly thereafter, Benno meets Zeno's wife.
Wenno.
Zoe.
Benno, Zeno, and Zoe?
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like a TV show on Nick Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. So Benno meets Zeno's wife, Zoe, and she is the most beautiful person he has ever seen. And he falls immediately in love. And in spite of the fact that he was literally just in a shipwreck, and this guy's hospitality is the only thing that's keeping him from being out on the streets in a foreign country, he immediately is like, gotta fuck her. Gotta do it.
Sounds a little bit like a lot of Benno's bad decisions start with a woman.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I kind of like him. He's a little bit of a rascal. So he falls instantly in love with the Princess Zoe. Mm-hmm. This is in the city of Naxos, by the way.
I love Naxos. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So Benno becomes a part of Zeno's court, and meanwhile, he and Zoe...
By the way, Naxos is the island that Ariadne and Dionysus lived on. Like, Naxos is where Dionysus lived. Mm-hmm. So this is like wine and partying and Bacchae territory.
Oh, I love it. In the text, they make a lot of references to Dionysus and the Bacchae and, like, wild women shredding men and everything like that. That comes up a lot in the story. That makes sense. That's really cool.
So cool.
I love that. Meanwhile, Benno is, first of all, cozying up to Zeno. He's his best friend and everything. Uh-oh. He's a part of the court. But also, any opportunity he gets, he and Zoe are, like, sneaking off together, and he'll bring her these lavish gifts and everything like that. Uh-oh. And yeah, things get pretty heated, where they're, like, fully sneaking around. They have not yet, like, actually done anything that would get them in trouble, but it's definitely
an emotional affair.
Yeah. So, Benno... He buys her all of these incredible presents, like the finest clothes and silks, and he buys her all these dresses and jewelry and like oils and like food from far off places and gems and everything. He just like showers gifts upon her. She treats him kind of like a confidant, where initially she kind of like holds him at arm's length and is like, "Thank you for these presents," but like as it goes on, she starts, like, telling him secrets where she's like, "I really shouldn't tell anyone about this, but here's what's going on at the court." Which kind of emboldens him a little bit, where he's like, okay, this is, like, definitely reciprocated.
No, it sounds a little bit like she thinks he's her friend.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she 100% is like, "No, we're just good friends, and he's friends with my husband. I don't have any romantic feelings for him."
So... yes, that is what it feels like in this story.
Okay.
Benno tells this story as, like, a story of forbidden love.
Yeah.
I would say that evidence points to her not being into him and not knowing how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I'll get more into it. But, yeah, I also noticed that, and I was like, this is a really weird thing in this story, but it is very apparent that maybe she isn't into it.
You are hearing this from Benno's point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So, emboldened by her, like, confiding in him, he retains the services of one of her handmaidens to pass messages back and forth between them. So they start passing, he, like, starts sending her love letters and everything through this handmaiden. And he keeps setting up these meetings with her where he's like, Zeno's going to be out of town. Why don't we meet in this hallway at this time? And he passes this along through the handmaiden, and then he'll show up at the meeting place, and the handmaiden will show up and be like, something came up and she couldn't make it. And this happens a couple of times.
Oh, she's ghosting you.
Yeah. Zoe never shows up, which makes him even more determined. He describes it as being like feeling an impossible thirst and being denied water, where he's like, it only made me thirstier.
Good Lord, Zeno, or Benno, or Deno. I don't know.
And the worst part is that, like, he has his friend Zeno, and he has Zoe, and he doesn't really have any other friends because he splits all of his time between these two people. So he has no one that he can talk to about this. He's being a fucking idiot. Yeah. He has no one that he can talk to about all of this, which is really frustrating because he's like, I'm going crazy. He starts physically ailing from how lovesick he is, where, like, the strength of his body is leaving him. He, like, has trouble standing up. He's throwing up often just from, like...
Hey, Benno, eat an orange and go out in the sun, you fucking incel.
So he is fully lovesick to the point that he ends up on bed rest because he's just so, like,
too
thoroughly
horny.
Obsessed.
Max, this is what happens when a guy has blue balls, okay? We make a lot of jokes here, but this is an affliction that many men suffer from, and it can be quite serious. I know somebody who once died from blue balls.
Go to cdc.gov/blueballs to find out more information, because honestly, awareness is the biggest part of, fighting this disease.
In the arms of an angel. You know, for 11 cents a day, you can help a guy jack off.
You can donate a Pornhub subscription to a guy.
To any man.
Just anyone. So he is laid up in bed, and the prince, his best friend, sends his personal physician to go check on his buddy.
Dr. Boobs.
No. His name is Theophrastus, is this physician.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Theophrastus. So the prince sends his personal physician, Theophrastus, to check on Benno. And Theophrastus comes in, and Benno is like, leave me alone to die. And Theophrastus is like, all right, man. And he, like, sits down beside his bed, and he's like, I'm not going to try and give you medicine because this is very obviously not a medical issue. This is very clearly something that's going on with you.
Very clearly you got too horny and now you think you're gonna die.
Yeah, so Theophrastus says he knows that Benno's health fled on the wings of love and can only return on the same. So Theophrastus is like, hey man,
you gotta get laid.
You just gotta get laid.
Okay.
And Benno takes heart from this. Benno's like, it'll never happen. He says that where is it? Benno says, I have no choice but to resign myself to my fate and strangle myself in the deceptive snare. So he's like, I've built this web of lies and now I'm ready to die in it. And Theophrastus says, well, listen, nothing new ever happens, but things can happen again. And think about all the great romances in Greek mythology. Okay. And he lists all of these, like, romances. And also, all of these romances are a little bit fucked up because they're from Greek mythology.
Because they're from Greek mythology.
Yeah, a couple of them...
Have you considered turning into an eagle and snatching up a naked boy? What about that?
100% that's the implication. This has, like, weird literary layers.
Just go and take her?
Yeah, 100%.
Have you considered disguising yourself as a big old bird? Do I know how this story is going to end?
No.
Okay, well, that would be cool.
No.
That's a total Zeus thing to do.
So Theophrastus says, like, listen, crazier things have happened for love in Greek myths, and because it's happened before, it can happen for you, right? Mm-hmm. So he gives Benno a little bit of hope. Benno starts to feel better. He's like, yeah, I can do this. I should believe in myself. And he and Theophrastus become friends. Theophrastus becomes the confidant that he needs, and he kind of helps him in his scheming after Zoe.
And Theophrastus is like, you know what else the Greeks did a lot?
Definitely get that vibe a little bit.
Yeah. He's like, let's do it how they do it in Sparta. Both of us fuck.
Buttually.
Love buttually. But actually.
So Benno and Theophrastus continue to scheme after Zoe and everything, and she continues this, like, you know, they continue their flirtations and everything. He keeps sending her love notes and everything. It's important to note also that Zeno is a very jealous man, just inherently. I don't think he suspects Benno of anything, but he suspects every other man of everything. He's one of those guys. So he always has this, like, group of people follow her for her protection and everything, and to make sure that he knows where she is at all times.
That's probably why she's like, I'm not meeting you in this goddamn hallway.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
But she always has this, like, a group of
guards,
paladins and like people that are supposed to be with her and her handmaidens. And one evening she's able to kind of escape from them a little bit so she can go for a walk in the garden.
Yeah.
Benno, this is not explained, but Benno arrives, sees that she is alone, and then scales the fence to get into the garden, which super seems like he was spying on her.
He 100% was.
Yeah. So he scales this fence and he jumps into the garden and he takes her by her pale white hand, and he, like, confesses himself to her, and he's like, I'm so glad we're finally alone. And then a bunch of knights pop out of the bushes. And he is ambushed.
Cop, motherfucker!
Yeah, because Zeno set this as a trap.
So did she do this as a trap? Did Zoe know this was going to happen?
It's hard to say.
I bet that it did. I like to think that it did. Like, she was like, I'm being fucking harassed by this creep.
So what happens is the knights jump out, they beat the shit out of Benno.
Yeah.
And then they go to drag him off to prison.
Okay.
And they say that Zoe is being held by her handmaidens, and she's saying, like, no, stop, like, don't hurt him, which he takes as, like, don't hurt him, I love him. But I think it can also be read as, like, Zeno was like, all right, we're gonna get this guy off your back, we just gotta figure out who it is, and then we'll take him to jail. And then she sees them beat the shit out of this guy, and she's like, no, you weren't supposed to hurt him, you were supposed to get him to leave me alone. So I think that that's a way that you can read this, is that, like, she doesn't reciprocate this.
She doesn't want any violence,
but she doesn't want him to get
die
murdered.
because he fucking touched her hand.
So that's also kind of, I think, how that feels a little bit.
Yeah.
But the guards take Benno, and after they beat the shit out of him, they drag him out to this prison. This prison is a former temple to Bacchus that has fallen into disrepair since the rise of Christianity. They open up, like, a hatch in the floor of this temple, and there's a ladder descending down into darkness, and they force him down into this hole in the ground, basically, inside of this Dionysian temple.
Cool.
And as he goes... I think it's a wine cellar. It doesn't say that, but it feels like it's a wine cellar. I was
thinking that he's going to go down there and just be amongst a bunch of barrels.
You would hope. Instead, he gets to the bottom, and the only light that he can see is from this, like, tiny pinprick of light up above. And it's also nighttime, so, like, he can't see shit. But he's, like, walking around, and he starts, like, feeling the things around him in the darkness. And he quickly realizes that this pit is full of bodies.
Yeah.
Some skeletons who have been here for a really long time.
He's going to starve to death in this pit.
Yeah, some of them are more recent, like bodies that are still decaying and everything like that. Ugh. And he is mourning the loss of his love. He is sure that he is going to die down here. And he just, like, cries and cries. He, like, curls up in a corner, and he's like, well, I guess this is how I die.
Yeah.
And eventually he kind of cries himself to sleep, and he sleeps for an indeterminate amount of time because he can't tell how long it's been. He sleeps for a long time, and every time he wakes up, he just tries to go back to sleep again because he's like, I want to be not conscious for as much of this dying process as possible.
Yeah, fair.
But time passes, and then out of nowhere, the hatch up above opens, and someone lowers down a barrel that has in it, like, a big meal and a lantern and some wine.
Huh.
And then the hatch slams shut again. But now there's a lantern, so he's able to actually examine the cave and everything like that.
Yeah.
And he immediately falls on this food. Except, no, he doesn't. He doesn't immediately do it, because it specifically says that he takes the time to build a little table and chair out of skeletons that he can eat at.
You fucking psycho!
That was wild.
A skeleton dining station?
Yeah, it like says it offhandedly. He's like, I finally had this food after God knows how long, so I just made myself a little table out of bones, and I ate my dinner. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Benno, what kind of person are you?
What's going on,
We haven't really pinpointed what your deal is.
So he sits down and he eats this meal as though he is starving, because he is. And then he goes to sleep with a full stomach for the first time in a while. More time passes in the darkness. The lamp runs out of oil, and so he spends, longer in the darkness. Again, just waiting for death.
Yeah.
And then after an amount of time, he hears the hatch up above open, and he hears the ladder slide down with a loud roaring noise, like someone is coming down.
Yeah.
And he sees someone's feet appear, and he's like, oh, they must be sending someone else down here. But when the person arrives at the bottom of the pit, and they turn around, it is Theophrastus.
Oh, shit!
And Theophrastus is like, hey, Benno, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And Benno's like, yep, nope, no further explanation needed. And the two of them scramble back up the ladder and out. They get back to Theophrastus's apartments, and Theophrastus explains that Benno's life has been saved by Zoe.
Yeah.
What happened was, after he was thrown in jail, she set herself on a hunger strike against the prince.
Hell yeah, Zoe.
Yeah, where she was like, I'm not eating because this man is starving. So you feed him.
Because of me. Yeah.
Yeah, you feed him or I'm not eating.
Yeah.
So she goes on this hunger strike, and the prince is like furious, but he also just loves her like crazy. Like, he never reprimands her. He super takes it out on all of her knights and everything like that. But he's very much like, yes, dear. And so she goes on this hunger strike. Zeno, in order to kind of like tempt her to eat some food, he goes out hunting and gets a lot of like lovely fragranced meats. But while he's out, she sneaks out and she goes to the guard in the tower and bribes him to send that dinner down to Benno.
Yeah.
So that's how he got that food. And then the prince comes back and she still refuses to eat. And after a couple of days, she's starting to look really pale. And the Prince Zeno is like, fine, okay, what do you want? And she's like, let him go.
Yeah, release him.
Yeah. And so the prince concedes. He says that he will let Benno out on the condition that he is banished from Naxos forever.
Yeah, I feel like exile is a way more reasonable punishment.
Yeah. 100%. Also, kind of nice of him. Like, I appreciate that he wasn't like, okay, then starve. Like, he was like, all right.
I mean, yeah.
It could have been a lot worse, I guess, is what I'm like. It's rare that you see someone taking pity, especially when he's like, it's rare that you see a shitty husband in a fairy tale taking pity on someone, I guess.
That's true.
Yeah. So he's like, fine, he can go, but he has to never come back to Naxos again, right? And he has to never have any contact with you again. So Zoe tells Theophrastus, and Theophrastus gets him out of the cell, right?
Yeah.
And so they're wrapping all this up, and Theophrastus is like, listen, there's a boat waiting for you at Hellespont.
Yeah.
It will take you away. You know, you can just tell them where you need to go, and we're going to get you out of here before the prince changes his mind, right?
Yeah.
And Benno is like, but... no, what about Zoe? And Theophrastus is like, you're gonna get fucking killed.
Dude, she's just not that into you.
Benno says to Theophrastus, didn't you yourself teach me that love without hope is more bitter than death? I would rather die than leave without her, basically.
Fine, then get back in the goddamn body pit.
Yeah, go back in the hole.
Go back to your skeleton table, you fucking psycho.
You goddamn psycho.
You goddamn psycho. She's giving you an out, take it.
So... Theophrastus is like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And she can't come with you. She's the princess.
And she doesn't want to.
The prince is going to kill you.
Yes.
And Benno's like, all right, well, if I can't be with her, then I'd rather just fucking die. So maybe I'll just go up to the prince and I'll challenge him to a duel for her hand. And then he'll kill me and then I'll be dead. And maybe she'll cry over me.
Oh,
and
God.
Theophrastus is like, buddy, that's real sad.
Don't traumatize her further than you already have.
So he's like, just don't do that. Like, the prince is gonna kill you, and then that's a bummer for everyone.
Yeah.
But Theophrastus is like, listen, I note that your passion triumphs over reason, which is why nothing of the beautiful Zoe can turn you away. So he is like, I get that your determination is a part of the reason why she loves you. I guess it's a character trait that is positive to some people.
Yeah.
I want to trickle a drop of the life dew of hope into your heart again. So Theophrastus proceeds to tell Benno the truth about Zoe.
Okay.
Zoe is of fairy blood.
Ooh.
She is unnaturally beautiful because she is descendant of the fairies. And specifically, she is one of the many descendants of Leda the Swan.
Cool.
So she has all of these sisters who are all equally beautiful, and they all share something in common, which is that each of them, when they are born, is given their birthright of a gossamer veil, which is attached to a golden crown. Each of these women, when they put on this gossamer veil and golden crown, can turn into a swan.
Okay.
And every year they have to, on the solstice, they have to make a pilgrimage to one of 3 ponds in the world and bathe in them, and then they live forever, and they maintain their youth and their beauty and everything.
Yeah.
So he tells Benno this, and he says, like, you know, she is a fairy descendant of Lita. Also, the implication is that Lita herself is a fairy.
Yeah, I was going to say, which is the myth, well, I guess the most common myth that we know is that Lita was raped by Zeus as a swan, not that she was a swan. She then went on to give birth to Helen, that we know as Helen of Troy. It was actually Helen of Sparta. So that is wild that...
Well, it's the idea. I think the idea is that Lita was a fairy. Okay. So now they're like part fairy, part human, part swan, kind of.
Got it. And maybe was also given a magic gift after bearing Zeus's children, perhaps?
Possibly.
Like the swan.
Or else, like, her fairy heritage already carried that trait.
Okay.
I don't know. They don't go into it too entirely much. But, so she and her many sisters are granted these veils. They have to go to these ponds to maintain their youth and their beauty. But if they keep going to the ponds, it seems like they'll live forever, basically. Yeah. The 3 springs that they can go to rejuvenate themselves. There's one in Abyssinia, Africa, which is along the Nile. There's another one at the bottom of Mount Ararat in Asia. And then there's one in Germany along the Sudeten River near the Swan Field.
This is cool. This is cool how specific this is.
Yeah. So there's this one in Germany near the Swan Field. And Theophrastus mentions, he's like, Zoe usually goes to the one in Germany every year because the one in Egypt is really hot and the one in Asia is really far away. So she usually goes to this pool that's like much closer and much more convenient.
Makes sense.
So every year, someone could hypothetically find her there. Hypothetically.
Honestly, this is a smart thing to get him out of the goddamn country.
Yeah. So Theophrastus says if Benno waits at sunrise or at sunset around the solstice at this pond in Germany, then he'll be able to see these fae daughters. They'll arrive as swans, and then when they touch the water, they will cast off their veils, and then they will become like women in the pond, nymphs who will bathe to regain their youth and beauty, and then will put their veil back on and fly away. Theophrastus says that the veil grants them the power to turn into a swan. So if while they were in the water, someone took their veil, they wouldn't be able to get away.
Like a selkie.
Like a selkie.
Fuck.
This story's so cool.
I was going to say, the story is so good. Also, this is 100% like just magical realism. Like, we're getting so many actual historical details and like myths and...
This story's my whole personality now. I love this. I know that this is going to be a long episode, and this is not like our funnier episodes.
No, this is
incredible. I'm so excited to tell this story.
Yeah.
So
you didn't think the body pit was hilarious?
I mean, it's kind of funny.
It's hilarious.
So take Zoe's veil, he says, and like use it to convince her to stay and talk to you, and then maybe once she knows it's you, she'll want to stay, and you guys can figure out what to do from there, right? So Benno gets on this ship at Hellespont, and he sails to Germany, and he makes the long trek from the coast into Swanfield and to this pond that he's heard about.
Yeah.
He waits there for 3 summers, and during the time he builds his hut, he builds his little garden. People start referring to him as the hermit, so he's like, I guess I'm a hermit now. Also important to mention that the Pope sent him on crusades, and he was like, I'm gonna do it. And then like the second he saw Zoe, he was like, fuck crusades, not interested. So
no thanks.
He is still technically on a holy quest that has been on hiatus for a very long time. So Benno waits for 3 summers, and he always sees the swans arriving and then departing, but he never sees Zoe, right? He sees other nymphs in the pond.
Yeah.
He sees them, like, turn into women and then back into swans and fly away, but he never sees Zoe. So he keeps waiting. Also, this is also a really cool detail. When the swans arrive in their big flock, they all land on the lake, and then some of them turn into nymphs, and some of them are just swans. Which I think is
like,
really sweet.
What the hell? The swans are looking around like, oh, I really thought we were doing a whole thing.
Oh, no. I like that they hang out with the swans also.
Yeah, that's cool.
They have swan friends. So some swans are just swans, but every day near the solstice, he waits near the pond and he watches for Zoe. After 3 years... he finally sees a flock of swans landing, and he sees one of them turn into the beautiful Zoe of Naxos.
Oh.
And immediately he forgets Theophrastus' advice. He runs out of the bushes where he was hiding.
Oh my god!
And he shouts, Zoe of Naxos, life of my soul, recognize the French knight in me, your faithful paladin, to whom love betrayed your secret, and spurred him on to wait here at the spring of beauty.
And she's like, oh, my stalker's here.
Yeah, 100%. So he runs out screaming. He's like, Zoe, I love you. I finally see you again. Amazing.
Oh my God.
I knew to wait for you, and it's been years, and finally it happened.
Oh my God.
And all of these nymphs in the water are like, ah! And they all like splash water at him and then swim as fast as they can to the edges of the lake, and they grab their veils and they turn into swans and they fly away.
Yeah.
And so he's just like covered in pond water. There's like a flurry of white feathers, so thick that he can barely see through it. And then when like the feathers clear, the pond is empty.
God, what a fucking... I hate him. This makes me not like him. How dare he ruin these ladies' like bath?
I know, right?
Yeah.
So he like looks around and he's like, maybe she's hiding somewhere for me. And he like,
my God,
looks everywhere.
What a fucking stalker.
Yeah. He's like, maybe she's hiding in a bush. And so he looks all around the pond until finally he realizes that no, she's not here.
Yeah.
And he starts to walk back towards his hut, kind of ready to give up.
Good.
And as he's walking, he sees a tiny footprint in the grass, like stamped in the dew of the grass. Mm-hmm. And he imagines that this must be Zoe's foot. And so he goes where the footprint is leading, and he sees a bush. And underneath of the bush, there is a little parcel, a little white silk parcel. And he opens it up, and it's a woman's glove.
Okay.
White silk glove. And inside of the palm of the glove, there is a beautiful ruby ring in the shape of a heart.
Okay.
And so he finds this, and he assumes that Zoe left this for him as a promise of like, I have to leave, but I love you. Right? Mm-hmm. And I'll be back. Mm-hmm. 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 So.
I hate this.
Uh-huh. It's wild.
Yeah.
So Benno stays at the Hermitage. He waits year after year, but he never sees Zoe again in all of his long years. He becomes an old man. He starts carrying a hawthorn cane.
Yeah, she doesn't... Now she has to fly all the way to Egypt. Damn it.
So he sees lots of maidens and he's not interested in them. He only wants Zoe. So he stays here as a hermit and everything. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of been the holding pattern since then.
Yeah.
So he goes on a little bit. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I know that I'm not a good person. I did all of this not for love of God, but for love of this woman.
Agree.
But at the same time, I built this hermitage and I've helped a lot of people.
Sure.
So as much as I am shitty and a bad person, the ends of this are positive, which doesn't mean that I'm better. It just means that maybe there was a point to me being alive.
I think that's actually fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weirdly introspective for a fairy tale character. And he says all introspective people are locked up in hermitages or cells, where he says that the only people who like think about what they're doing are the ones who are locked in isolation, either in a hermitage or in a jail cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the corner and think about what you've done.
Yeah. He says they're all locked up in hermitages or cells, even if they are considered saints. Mm. So he's like, even if you are a very good person, if you have to sit alone with your thoughts for long enough, you won't feel like it, you know? So Benno
Speak for yourself. When I'm alone, I only think about how great I am.
Wow, what a good person.
I'm such a good girl.
So Benno finishes telling this long story to Friedbert.
Yeah.
And he says that, he's like, I think a lot that maybe I've wasted my life, but then I think about all of the good that I've done. And I think about the love that I missed out on by being sort of held up on this, right? Yeah. And I should have, when I was still a young man and still had the ability, I should have moved on. I should have gone somewhere and gotten a job and met a woman that I loved and made a family, And so Benno says, I'm a very old man and I'm not going to live forever. So I want you to stay with me until I die. And then once I die, Friedbert, I want you to go out into the world and to make your fortune and to fall in love. And that's what I wish for you. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, he's like, you're a hardworking man and, you're a soldier and you will be able to find someone who loves you. But hey, and it kind of reads as a little bit of a joke. He's like, but hey, if you can't, you can always go veil-snatching down at the pond, right?
Oh, fuck. Friedbert, no! Friedbert, no!
And then Benno falls asleep and Friedbert stays up all night thinking about this. Mm-hmm. A couple of months later, Benno does pass away.
Okay.
Friedbert buries him in the mountains near the Hermitage. And all of the pilgrims that come here for absolution and everything are deeply saddened to find that Benno has passed. And they all ask for like maybe a token of him to carry with them as like a good luck charm. So Friedbert takes one of Benno's old robes and he cuts it up into these little like little bits of cloth that he gives out to people, and they all offer to like buy them from him so that he can, you know, continue the hermitage and everything. So he sells basically these little bits of Benno's cloak as almost like relics.
This is very Catholic of him. I had a rosary that had part of Therese of Lisieux's veil in it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's what I got for my confirmation.
And then when he ran out of cloak to sell, he took the hawthorn staff that Benno always carried around and broke it into splinters, and then would sell the little splinters as, they describe them as like toothpicks. He would sell them to, you know, people who were coming. He was like, even people at this point who didn't, he would go into like the farmer's market, and people passing through town, he would be like, here's part of the staff of a holy man. And they're like, great, I'll buy it.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's very weirdly cynical in this sense. So he makes a very good living off of the sale of these holy relics that Benno has left behind. He stays in the hermitage and he waits for the solstice.
Oh no!
On the solstice, he starts to see the swans arriving and everything in flocks. He sees them arrive at the pond, become women, cast off their veils, swim around for a little bit, have a great time, get out, put their veils back on, turn into swans, fly away, right? And eventually he gathers up the nerve. 3 swan women land in the pond, and he is like hiding behind a tree. He waits until none of them are looking, and then he dashes out and he grabs one of the veils, and he runs back to his hut, and he locks the veil in an iron trunk.
Okay.
And then he like goes back out to the pond, and then is like, oh, I probably shouldn't wait here. That feels sinister. So he goes back to his house, and then he's like, but what if they leave? And then he goes back to the pond, and he's like, but this is going to be weird if I'm here. And then he goes back to his house, and he's like, I'm just going to stay here. I'm just going to stay here.
He's racking up so many steps on his Fitbit.
So he stays in his house, and he's like, how am I going to play this, right? So he sits by his little fireplace, and sort of like sunset becomes dusk, becomes night. And just like in the last rays of the sun, he sees 2 swans flying away.
Oh.
And so he sits and he waits, and he pretends to be deep in prayer in his house. And he hears someone walk up outside and sort of stop outside of the door. Someone very small and slight with tiny feet.
Aww.
And he like bows his head as though he hasn't noticed and is like,
this is sinister.
Yeah. It's devious as hell. And then he hears like a really tentative knock on the door.
Poor thing.
And he opens the door and he sees this woman outside, and she is beautiful. She has skin that is like as white as a swan's plumage, right? And this like long golden yellow hair that like falls down. She has like a long like swan-like neck and everything like that. She's just incredibly beautiful.
Okay, so I'm imagining an albino woman with this like really long floppy neck, completely nude.
She's a, what's it called? She is a...
Oh, yeah, the Rikura Kubi.
Yeah, Nuka-kubi.
Nuka-kubi?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Rikura Kubi. It's the 2 different kinds. One of them's like the removable head, one of them's stretchy head. Actually, the Rikura Kubi is the stretchy head. You were right.
Stretchy head.
Stretchy head. So he opens the door, and this woman is standing there, and she starts talking to him, and she's like speaking very urgently.
Yeah.
And he doesn't speak the language that she is speaking.
God.
And he doesn't recognize it either, because he's lived in kind of the same area his whole life.
Yeah.
He like went to war as a young man, so he speaks his own language basically. Benno would have understood it.
Yeah.
Friedbert does not. So this woman is like very urgently talking to him in a language that he doesn't understand. And he knows obviously what she's saying. She's saying like, hey, I lost something. I need your help finding it, right?
Yeah.
And he is sort of like, it's okay. And he like brings her into the hut, and he starts to make her dinner, intentionally misunderstanding what she's saying to be like, I'm lost and I need somewhere to stay.
This story took such a dark turn.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So he is like, you're hungry. That's okay. I'll make dinner. And she's like, no, I lost my shit. And he's like, no, it's okay. Just sit. You don't have to help. It's okay. You're a guest. She's like, no, I lost my shit out there. And he's like, would you like some water?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he's intentionally misunderstanding her, as well as also literally misunderstanding her.
Yeah.
And he, like, makes her dinner and everything, and he gives her water. And eventually she kind of, like, stops trying to explain what's going on because she's also very tired and very hungry.
Yeah.
She just flew in today. And boy, are her arms tired. So she eats with him, and then he directs her over to, like, a straw pallet in the room. And then he sleeps in a straw pallet on the opposite side of the room. And she, like, curls up near the fire. And he hears her, like, crying a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, very quietly, and then she goes to sleep. The next morning, he wakes up, and she is, like, standing over him, and she, like, touches him with her foot, and he's like, what? And she, like, grabs him by the hand and, like, hauls him up and pulls him outside.
Aww.
And she is, like, in her language, she's saying, like, all right, we're gonna find my shit, all right? It's gonna be, like, so she trusts this guy now because, you know, she obviously wasn't murdered in the middle of the night or anything like that. So she's like, all right, so I don't think you did it, but that means that, like, something happened to my shit. And again, she can't, like, express herself, but she, like, grabs him by the wrist and, like, pulls him out towards the pond and is, like pantomimes looking, right?
Yeah.
So the two of them, like, look around the pond. She is thinking that, like, the wind must have caught her veil up and blown it into a bush or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so he, like, pretends to look around with her, and he's like, I don't know, I don't see anything. And they spend the whole day hunting around outside of the pond until finally she gives up. She's like, something happened, and I'm not going to find it again, you know? I'm stuck. So she rests that night, and she stays through the next day. And then she kind of resigns herself to the fact that she is in a foreign land, and she doesn't know how to get home. And so she just decides to stay there, right?
Oh my God. And her shit is in a box in his house. This is so scary. It's like a horror movie.
Yeah. So they live together, and eventually they're able to cobble together, like, a sort of method of communication that they can both understand, because neither of them speaks the other's language.
Yeah.
Right? But they're able to, like, kind of learn words in each other's languages so that they can communicate to, like, you know, any degree.
Yeah.
And she explains to him in this, like, cobbled together language that she is from Greece.
Okay.
So she's speaking Greek. He also finds out that her name is Callista, which I think is a beautiful name.
Callista is a good name.
And that she is the youngest daughter. She has several sisters. And that she is the daughter of Prince Zeno and Princess Zoe.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is.
She tells him that for her entire life, she and her sisters grew up. And obviously they're all these, like, fae swan women.
Yeah.
And for her entire life, her mother had told her, like, there are these 3 places that you can go, but don't go to the one in Germany because it's not safe for you, right? Yeah. And then she and her 2 older sisters were, like, they always had to go down to Egypt, like you say.
Yeah.
This is literally in the story. They're like, but Egypt is really hot and dry. And so, like, it's a huge pain. It's like going out and getting your hair done and then, like, walking out into the rain kind of thing, where they're like, we're, you know.
We go in the river and then come out and immediately we're just, like, scorched.
Yeah, and, like, covered in sand and shit. Yeah. So she and her sisters, one year, they're kind of like, all right, this is stupid. We've got to...
Sorry, this is weirdly triggering.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of, like, women, you just can't walk at night. Like, what? And if you do walk at night, like, you know the risk. And it's like, women should be able to walk whenever the fuck they want to. Like, well, you just can't actually be out here alone. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
You can't listen to music while you're running. Like, it's just not safe for you. And if you do it, then it's your own fault if something happens. It's like,
yeah.
This is a triggering story.
This is a wild story.
Yeah.
So she and her sisters kind of hatch this plan that they're going to sneak away from their mom and secretly go to the spring in Germany.
Yeah.
And she also tells Friedbert that her mother, Zoe, has always said, like, she's like, I wish I could come with you, but I can't. And that her mother has begun to age because she hasn't been able to get out to the springs. And Zeno has since passed away. And so Zoe kind of lives alone, a little bit of a recluse, just in solitude, like just getting older and taking care of her daughters.
Yeah.
Callista and her sisters go sneak off and come to this pond in Germany. And then she's like, and then my veil disappeared. So I'm thinking, so what she tells him is she's like, I think what happened is my mom probably knew that there was like a magician or something around here just waiting to steal some veils. Aww. And that's why she warned me away. And, you know, so that was my mistake. I should have believed her.
Poor thing.
And Friedbert is like, that's probably what happened.
God. Fucking villain. I was on his side.
I know. This story is such a roller coaster.
Yes.
Freebert is like, yeah, that's probably what happened. And he's like, it's so interesting to find all this out because obviously I didn't know about any of this before. I have heard, though, there's this local story about, like, this woman. Like, I've heard about the swan thing. I didn't believe it, but, like, there was this woman who came here as a swan. She landed in the pond, and then a man took her veil, and she was stuck there. And then they fell in love, and they lived really happily forever. And Callista is like, wow, so I guess it worked out for them.
Oh.
Happy for them.
How old is Callisto?
It doesn't say.
She's tiny. This could be a fucking teenager who is also naive.
It seems like she's like an adult.
Yeah.
But it is like, yeah. There's no indication that she's young.
Okay.
She's just the youngest of the three sisters.
Right.
But I think that they're adults. Because also this comes up later, one of her sisters is of, like, marrying age, you know?
Yeah, but
like, of, like, you need to get married now age, kind of.
Yeah, but that could be 22.
It could be.
You know, like, in fact, it probably is 22, 24.
We also don't know how old Freebert is, though. He could have been 14 when he got there, and now he's 19.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, though, because he probably was very young. Mm-hmm. But also just, like, him being like, I heard this story where they fell in love. And she's like, I mean, I guess it worked out for them. And, like, the idea of, like, it just seems so naive.
It's sinister, yeah.
You know, and also her being described as being very small and, like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it depicts her as, like, very bird-like, specifically.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but I don't know. So they live together, and eventually she's like, I would really like to not be in this hut anymore. Like, do you think we could go into town at some point? And he's like, I mean, I would love to, but I don't feel comfortable going into town until, like, hang on, let me remember how he explains this, because it's super bullshit. He's like, I don't want to go into town. I don't want to leave the hermitage unless, like, I can say that, like, something has changed in my life, right?
What? Like, I got married?
For example. He's like, I can say that I'm going to be getting married. So, I mean, I guess we could go into town and I could, like, go look for a wife or whatever. And she understands and is like, we can tell people that we're getting married if that would help. And he's like, sure.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So he packs up all of his things and they set off back towards his hometown.
Oh no.
Meanwhile, Friedbert's mother, it has been 4 years since her son was presumably killed in battle.
Yeah.
Her husband has also since died. Mm-hmm. So she lives alone, a widow and a mother of a murdered son. And she spends all day, like, cursing the men who killed her husband and killed her son and everything. She lives alone in this town. And then one day she gets word that her son is coming home. And all of the people in the town, because this is a small town, everyone knows who he is and, like, what happened and everything. Everyone in town is just buzzing. They're like, we heard Friedbert's coming home, and that, like, we think he might have his wife with him or something.
Yeah.
We keep hearing stories about, like, all of these, he's been on all these adventures in the Orient.
Germany.
And after a little while, Friedbert himself arrives, along with his supposed fiance. Mm-hmm. And they ride up on horseback, and he has behind him all of these riches that he's purchased with the money from, like, selling Benno's things to, like, kind of make it look like he's an adventurer and, like, a wealthy man at this point.
Yeah.
So he has this, like, this procession of all of his amazing things, and he comes back with all these stories of, like, the adventures that he's had in the time since he's been gone. And, like, the whole town throws a huge party for him. His mother is, like, crying because she never would have imagined that her son had survived.
And also thrived.
Yeah. And they settle into this hometown. They describe that he's bringing back his bride, who was the Sultan's daughter from Egypt.
What the fuck? Oh, God.
Just a really...
Also, though, for her, I would not want to leave that pond and be like, my sisters are going to come back here. Mm. She's just like, I hate this fucking place.
Yeah. So they're back in town for a little while. The town celebrates, and Friedbert's mom kind of, like, takes Callista under her wing and treats her like a daughter immediately.
Her wing.
Yeah. And Callista gets to see Friedbert in kind of the space where, like, he's doing very well.
Yeah.
And he makes sure to, like, he takes care of her, and he always is, like, paying attention to her and everything like that. And so she kind of decides, she's like, I think that we can get married. You know, she's like, he very clearly loves me a lot. I love him a lot. He saved my life. So they're, as far, again, this is a work in translation, so it's a little bit muddy, but their fake engagement becomes a real engagement.
Yeah.
But in order for them to get married, Friedbert has to go before the Lord of the Lands, whose name is Wild. The Lord of Gravenegg.
The Lord of Gravenegg?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, so he has to go to the
Lord of Gravenegg.
to, like, introduce himself and explain why he, like,
better not show him your pretty fiance.
Yeah.
This sounds a little bit like what is the nettle spinner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So he goes to explain, like, why he kind of a little bit deserted and, like, you know, offer his, like, allegiance to the Lord of Gravenegg and to request dispensation to be married and everything.
Oh.
But he has to travel a couple of days. So he has to leave Callista at home with his mother. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he gets back, he's like, once they give us the paperwork, I'm going to come back. And then, you know, it's going to be, like, 2 days there, 2 days back. So in 5 days, we can have the wedding. So they plan everything. He's gone for a while, and on the 4th day, Callista, her future mother-in-law, has had, like, this beautiful dress made. And also Friedbert, before he left, had a lot of input. He was like, you know, we should have it like this. And both, like, his mom and also his fiance were, like, really impressed by how tasteful it was. But she's trying on this brand new wedding dress and everything, and she puts on her wedding veil, and she's like, it's awful. Because she has had this, like, gossamer veil that was given to her by her mother and her mother's mother that was, like, her birthright. She's like, this feels like sackcloth. This is, like, it is rough against my skin. What is the point of this? And, like, she talks to her mother-in-law and she's like, I just wish, like, I wish there was, I know that we have to, like, the wedding is soon and so there's no way we could do this, but I wish I could, like, have a veil made from, like, my home in Greece, because the veils there are so much softer and so much more beautiful and everything. And she describes this veil that she had that has, like, the golden crown and the long gossamer veil. And Friedbert's mother is like, all right, you have to promise not to narc on me, but I think Friedbert might have gotten you a present. Friedbert, before he left, he had entrusted the iron coffer to his mother, and he had said, do not tell Callista about this, but he did not tell her why. So she assumes that it was a wedding gift for Callista, and she's like, I don't want you to panic about this veil, because I'm pretty sure that this is, like,
he's going to give it to you.
So she goes and she brings out the iron coffer, and immediately Callista sees that this is her veil.
Oh my god, what a horror movie. I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, and she goes through just the immediate feeling of, like, fury and betrayal.
Yeah, all the fucking stages of grief.
Yeah, and Friedbert's mother is like, isn't it beautiful? Like, this must be really nice. He must have spent a lot of time getting this for you and everything. And Callista's like, this is really nice of him. Thank you so much for telling me about this. And her mom is like, of course. Let me go, like, grab some stuff from upstairs and we can, like, see what, like, I'll grab some jewelry. We can see how you're going to dress for the wedding and everything. She walks out, and immediately Callista grabs this veil and she busts open the window to her bedroom, puts on the veil, turns into a swan, and flies away.
Yes.
She flies out the window, and at that very moment, her would-be mother-in-law comes back into the room, and so she sees this maiden turn into a massive bird and fly out of the window.
Yes.
And immediately she's like, a witch.
Oh, no.
And beyond that, she's like, that's clearly a witch or some kind of devil or something like that. Oh, and very clearly, my son has been in some bad business.
Yeah.
And he is, like, consorting with devils.
Oh, no.
He's brought a witch into our home. He's probably a witch himself.
Oh, no.
So she is just sitting at home getting angrier and angrier. And then Friedbert gets home and he's like, hey, mama, great news. And she's like, you son of a bitch. And she just starts beating him around the head, and she's like, you brought dark magic into our house, that devil woman, and, like, just starts going crazy, and he's like, whoa, what the fuck, ma? And, like, they get into a little bit of a tussle, and then, like, people have to, like, separate them until they calm down. And finally, when they calm down, she's like, this is what I saw, and I know what you did. And he's like, I'm not a wizard. I don't know what you saw, but I wasn't doing dark magic. And his mom doesn't really believe him. And if he was anyone else besides her own son, it says, like, she would have brought him to the constabulary and put him on trial for being a witch.
Yeah.
But because he's her son, she's like,
oh, God.
I guess I have to believe you. But everyone in the town is kind of like, but we all know that he's a witch.
Time to go back to your hermit hut, you fucking
yeah. So from
incel.
From that point on, everyone treats him like he is a witch, right? And they all, like, his mom is like, you can sleep, like, on the floor. You're not my son. You can stay in my house only because you don't have anywhere else to go, you know? And, like, just fully ices him out. And meanwhile, he's like, the day before my wedding, my wife ran away.
Yeah. Yeah, because she found out that you were keeping her fucking captive. Oh, God, what a horror movie for her. This is such a good story.
Yeah.
This is such a good story. I'm having a great time.
I know, right? I want just an entire TV series of this. This is the quote. "There is scarcely a more distressing condition than to be shipwrecked at the mouth of the harbor when one thinks one has happily completed the voyage around the world. And to lose a beloved bride the day before the marriage is quite the same. If she has become the prey of death, or has been kidnapped by a robber, or locked up in a convent by a hard-hearted father, there is a way for the lover to follow her to the grave, to hasten after the robber and snatch the spoils from him, or through the locked ones to penetrate the monastery gates. But when she flies away from the window, who can hurry after her but the Parisian air swimmers, which are like the swans themselves?" Yeah. So he is mourning the loss of
Parisian air swimmers. I want a crew neck sweater that says Parisian Air Crew or Parisian Air Swim Club.
Swim team.
Yeah.
I love that.
Parisian Air Swim Team. And it's just a picture of a swan.
So Freebert is like, well, my life is ruined. And he like sits in mourning for a while. Time passes. And then he decides that the only thing that he can do with his life to move forward from this is that he's got to go find her.
No.
He's like, she left.
Because we're keeping her hostage.
Mm-hmm. She left. She probably went home to Greece, right? So I could probably get to Greece and see if I can find her and explain. No. And immediately he's like, okay, but what if she didn't go to Greece? Like, what if she went back home? And also this is the other fucked up thing about this. She's been missing for months. And there are only a couple of reasons why a princess goes missing for months. So if she comes back, her honor will be destroyed because everyone will assume that she had a secret pregnancy and disappeared until she had the baby.
Oh, please. You know what? He shouldn't pretend like he cares about that.
He does, but he is specifically like, what if this is what happened? And specifically, he's like, what if that happened and then they cast her out? So she's not even in Greece anymore.
Then she can fly somewhere else, you goddamn psycho.
Yeah, and he's like, maybe she's in Egypt. Maybe she went back to Germany. Maybe she went to Asia. So, but he eventually is like, I can't think about this anymore. I just have to go to Greece. And he's like, it's going to take a long time because obviously I don't have wings and I'm going to have to take like a boat. So it's going to be a while before I can get there, but maybe I can get there and, you know, get lucky and be able to find her.
Yeah.
So he sells all of his things. He takes the coin purse of his remaining money and he sails to Greece. Mm-hmm. He arrives in Greece and he spends some time looking around for her. And, you know, people are like, oh, the princess? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, we don't know.
What princess?
And so he starts to despair that he's never going to be able to find her, right? He stands in the crowd at all of the like royal events and everything like that, and he never sees her. He sees her sisters, he sees her parents and everything, or her mom.
Yeah.
But he never sees her. And he's starting to think that like, maybe she died or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm never going to find her again. But one of her sisters, whose name is Irene, is set to marry Prince Isidore of Paros. And Prince Isidore arrives for the wedding. And so there are all of these huge festivals that are happening around the princess being married. Yeah. And so one of them is a tournament in celebration of the wedding.
Okay.
So he's like, all right. Yeah. One last try. So he enters the tournament and he's like, either I will put myself in the good graces of the royal family or I will be killed in battle and I won't have to worry about this anymore. Yeah. So he enters this tournament and he enters as, this is also a weird thing of like, this story crosses over with like Romeo and Juliet. Yes. It crosses over with A Knight's Tale and the Canterbury Tales and a bunch of other things. But
in Romeo and Juliet, doesn't she at one point dress like a swan? Like, isn't there like a...
In the Baz Luhrmann one. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if she does at the costume ball or anything like that.
I wonder if that's a nod to... Well, because Swan Lake is also kind of a Romeo and Juliet sort of thing. I mean, I wonder if Shakespeare pulled inspiration from this.
Maybe. This was in the 18th century, so he wouldn't have pulled inspiration from this, but maybe from the same root.
Yeah.
So he enters this tournament. Freebird enters this tournament, and he enters under the name of, like, he pretends to be a French knight.
Yeah.
Benno. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Because the person overseeing the tournament is the Princess Zoe.
Okay.
And he's like, maybe like this will ingratiate me to her a little bit, is that maybe she still has like a little soft spot in her heart for French knights.
Okay.
So he enters under the name of a French knight, and this is also really fucked up. So he's in this ring with all of the competitors and everything, and it's set up kind of like a coliseum with like the risers all around.
Yeah.
And so he starts fighting, and he hears like the sound of like metal ringing and the people cheering all around. And he starts to feel like he's back in the oven.
Yeah, he has PTSD.
Yeah, and he fully like has a PTSD breakdown.
Yeah.
And partly through that, he just blacks out.
Oh, fuck.
And wins.
No. Oh, shit.
And he survives the tournament. And it says that, this is a bit of an insensitive reading, but it says that, like, some things that are not possible through courage are possible through the desperation of cowardice, where he's, like, so afraid that he's able to kill everyone, even though he wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, the adrenaline rush. I mean, look, this is the stuff that makes moms be able to lift cars off their children.
Yeah, so he wins the tournament.
Yeah.
And the Princess Zoe goes to grant him with his trophy. And he bows before her, and she offers him her hand. Mm-hmm. And he takes her hand, and he kisses it, and then hands it back. And she sees on his finger...
He's wearing that red ring.
Her ruby ring.
Fuck!
And so she asks him, she's like, it's the strangest thing. I used to have a ring just like that. And he's like, oh, this old thing? There was this knight, this French knight that I won it off of back in my homeland. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where he got it. And she's like, I think that might be my ring. And he's like, oh, well, I don't know what to do about that. And she's like, I would be happy to buy it back from you for whatever it's worth to you.
Oh, shit.
It's kind of sentimental. I would love to have it back. And he's like, I would love to be able to do that, but I actually took an oath that I would give this ring to the woman that I was going to marry as her wedding band. Mm-hmm. So I can't break that oath, kind of, because I'm a knight. And she's like, okay, well, that
Aww.
Sucks. And he's like, I mean, I guess you could help me find a wife, and then maybe you could buy it from her. And the Princess Zoe, who is also, Zoe's messy as fuck, especially when she's older.
Yeah.
She is, like, immediately on board. She's like, okay, so we have to, this is a fun little scheme. Gotta find this hot knight, a girlfriend. Perfect. So she's immediately on board. She's like, got it. I'm going to introduce you to everyone in the court. We will find you a wife, and then I'll get my shit back. It's going to be so much fun. And he's like, great. So she fully invites him to like move into the palace, and he goes to all of the balls and everything and all of the events, and she introduces him to all of the most beautiful women in Greece, right? And every time he is very polite and disinterested. Yeah. Like at the end of every night, she always finds him like sitting off on his own, kind of looking sadly. Yeah. And eventually like months pass.
Oh shit. And she's like, this is getting shitty.
Yeah. And she's like, why don't you tell me what you want? And he's like, I, first of all, thank you for introducing me to all of these women. They're all amazing in their own right. I'm just worried that I'm not going to be able to fall in love with anyone except for, I feel like I'm still hung up on someone. And she's like, okay, tell me who. He's like, well, it's not, it's fucked up. I don't even know if it is a who. She's like, what does that mean? He's like, since you had me come stay in the palace, and I've been around in the hallways, I was so ready to fall in love. And then I passed this painting of the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And I fell instantly in love with her, and I don't even know if she's real. I don't know if she's been dead for 100 years, but I am in love with her, and I don't know if I can ever accept anyone else. And Zoe is like, all right, well, why don't you show me this painting, and we'll see whether this is like, she says, we'll see whether this is Cupid's folly, right? Yeah. And she, in her heart of hearts, is kind of like, it's probably a picture of me from when I was younger. And then I'm going to get to be like, oh, you're too young for me.
I love Zoe.
Yeah. So she follows him through the castle to the place where this painting is. Yeah. And they arrive at this painting of Callista. And immediately Zoe's like, ooh, embarrassing.
Yikes, we cut off her head.
She's like, it's embarrassing that I thought that it was going to be me. I should examine that later. But he's like, this is her, and I am just crazy in love with her. He's like, just tell me if she's real, and like, at least if she's not, then I'll know to give up. Yeah. And she's like, I wish I could tell you that. First of all, it's dumb that you fell in love with a painting.
I agree with her.
It's really dumb.
Yeah.
You've never met her. You didn't even know she was real, and you fell in love with her, and be better. Second of all, you got lucky because she is real. Unfortunately, though, she is the youngest of my daughters, and she was once the apple of my eye.
Uh-oh.
But something happened, and she is now in seclusion in a monastery. And Friedbert is like, okay, well, I would love to meet her. And she's like, I don't think you would, because here's the thing. A little while ago, she went for a walk with her sisters along the beach. And as they were walking, they came across a sailing ship, and they were kidnapped by these sailors, right? And her two sisters got away, but the sailors got Callista, and she ended up on this boat with a handsome sailor, and they fell in love, but she knew that he was a bad guy, right? So they spent months in love on a ship, and then they were run aground by a storm, and she knew that he was bad and that her family didn't know where she was. And so even though she still loved him, she escaped and she came back to us. But, you know, obviously her honor is tarnished.
Yeah, and
now.
she's still in love with that sailor, so.
And she's still in love with that sailor. And so she's my daughter, and she has told me that she's not going to marry anyone ever. Yeah. Because she doesn't want to, like...
Because she probably feels fucking betrayed and terrified of men now.
Yeah. But she's also she's been pining over this guy, even though she knows that he's bad. She's still in love with him, and it's driving me crazy. But also, I'm really sorry, but you do not have a chance.
Yeah.
Because she is obviously still in love with this man.
Yeah.
And he, obviously knowing the true story, is heartened by this.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, good. So I do still have a chance. And Zoe's like, she won't even meet with suitors. I honestly, it would be a waste of your time to go. And Friedbert's like, hey, it's okay. I don't have to go in suit of her. But I am madly in love with her, and I don't want to be with anyone else. And if she doesn't like me, then I would still love to be with her, and I will lay down my sword at her feet and protect her until her dying day, and then I will be buried beside her, and my spirit will protect her spirit for all of time, because, you know, I know it's whatever, but I am in love with her, and I will do anything.
Another stalker. Zoe, chop off his head. I'm really into head chopping today.
And Zoe is touched by this. This is from her perspective, this knight has been I'm in love with a painting. And she's like, that's my sad daughter. And he was like, okay, well, even if she doesn't love me, I'll just protect her or whatever. I don't need anything in return. I just really like her. And she's like, okay, well, you know, what's the harm? So she gives him a dispensation to go and visit her at the monastery.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Terrifying.
You're going to hate this.
Oh, no.
So Friedbert travels to the monastery under permission by the queen. And so Callista's at the monastery, and she hears that, you know, the queen's company is coming. And Callista's in this monastery, and she is sitting in an alcove of a window and reading, and is clearly just permanently kind of has just a sad expression. Yeah. She's heartbroken. It's very clear.
Because she got betrayed, hardcore betrayed.
Yeah. So she's just sitting in an alcove in this monastery reading, and she knows that her mom is arriving. She assumes that her mom is coming to visit her. And so she hears a footfall down the hallway, and she expects her mom to be like, hey honey, how are you doing? So she doesn't really look up.
Yeah.
But when she does, she hears someone fall to the floor in front of her, and she looks up, and it is Friedbert, and he has just thrown himself at her feet. And immediately she is shocked and just startled to see a man, right? Yeah. And so she kind of immediately shock jumps up and goes to run away, and he reaches up and he grabs her by the wrist.
God damn it.
Yeah. And she throws him off of her arm, and she turns around to him, just fire and hatred in her eyes. Yeah. And she says, get away from me, you deceitful man. It is enough that you betrayed me once. You shall not commit the second robbery against me.
Yes. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Where she's like, you lied to me, and I'm not giving you a chance to do it again.
Good.
You know?
Good. Good.
And then she does.
Okay. Callista, no!
They have a huge, like, knockdown, drag-out fight where she's like, why the fuck would you do that? You betrayed my trust. Mm-hmm. You ruined my life. You lied to me. You kept me away from my family.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't know. Like,
yes, you did.
He was like, I was stupid and I shouldn't have done it in the first place. And then I fell in love with you and I didn't know what to do about it. And I came all this way because I still love you. And I know that there's no way that you can forgive me, but I'm here in case there's some chance that you can, even though I don't deserve it.
He was never going to tell her.
Mm-hmm.
He was never going to tell her.
Never going to tell her.
No.
But they fight and they fight until finally, like, she becomes convinced of the fact that, like, she's like, he found me all the way in Greece.
Yeah.
So, like,
he stalked
obviously
you to
he loves
Greece,
me.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really infuriating.
All right.
It gets worse. So they reconcile and they go together back to Naxos. Mm-hmm. And they determine to be wed. Mm-hmm. The Princess Zoe is shocked because she's like...
And also betrayed. Now he's lied to 2 members of this family.
Yeah. So Zoe's shocked because she's like, they come back and they're like, we're in love and we're going to get married. And Zoe's like, I thought you said you were never going to marry anyone because you were still in love with that sailor. And Callista's like, oh, yeah, I got over it. This is my fiance now. And immediately Zoe's like, is he a fucking witch?
And then they all beat him and chase him out.
But Callista explains that Freebert is the quote-unquote sailor and everything. And obviously she's told her mom, like, a little bit of the true story.
Yeah.
So she's like, this is the man that I was in love with. And so Zoe is like, well, this is shitty, but if you guys are happy and you want to do this, then go for it. But obviously, Callista is still a princess, so they have to prove that Freebert is, like, of some kind of noble birth in order for it to be, you know, an acceptable match. So usually what they would do is they would go and they would track down his pedigree and everything like that. There's, like, the tables of German, like, families and everything like that. But he's like, I'm from really far away and it would take a really long time to get a hold of those. So instead, why don't we just all agree that I am of noble blood and anyone who disagrees can fight me? And everyone's like, sounds good. Sounds like the law.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God.
Freebert and Callista get married. Callista returns the ring to her mother after the wedding, and Freebert buys her another one. So now Zoe has her old ring back. After the wedding, Freebert goes to Zoe and tells her everything. He's like, this is how I got the ring. It was from Benno. He always loved you and everything.
Oh. And she's like, well, this is traumatic to relive.
Zoe tells them the whole story. And this is the biggest bummer of all.
Oh, no.
She's like, yeah, no, I was in love with him. That was a sign and a promise. And I was in love with him and I wanted to come back. But as soon as I got back, my husband was waiting for me and he took my veil and he shredded it. So she was never able to go back and see him.
What?
Yep. So,
oh my God.
Yep.
So he just condemned her to die.
Yeah.
He took away her immortality.
Yeah.
Fuck Zeno.
Yeah. So she was stuck and she could never get back to Benno, who she did in the end love, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is a huge bummer.
That is a bummer for this telling.
To me. Callista and Freebert lived very happily together, and they were known throughout the land as being, like, just very kind and loving people. Obviously, Freebert got older, and Callista did not. She continued her pilgrimages to the ponds and stayed young, while Freebert got old. And they say that it's not recorded how this love story resolved, right? So we don't know whether Callista is still alive. Maybe she fell in love again. Yeah. Freebert probably died of old age. But they say, like, basically, like, it's a mystery. And then at the very end, this is the dumbest thing. At the very end, they're like, so anyways, that's the story about one of the descendants of Leda and, like, the fairy swan daughters and everything like that. And the trip that they used to make to these ponds, they loved doing it, but they were always really tired. So a lot of these swan women, who some of them ended up in France, right? And they had a lot of power in society. So they commissioned this inventor to create the hot air balloon. And that's how hot air balloons happen. The end.
Twist.
twist!
M. Night Shyamalan style twist!
And this, the thing that in the beginning where I was like, this is a spoiler. This story is also known as the fairy tale of Montgolfier, Montgolfier is the man who invented hot air balloons.
That's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's the stupidest ending I've ever heard, and I love it.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm obsessed with this story. I can't stop thinking about it. It's so fucked up, and there's so many things that I'm mad about, but there are also so many things that are so fucking cool.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was a gorgeous fucking epic story. I will also... By the way, that was an hour and a half long story.
Yeah,
and I love it. That's the longest I have ever talked, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Callista Flockhart is the actress who played Ally McBeal.
Aw.
And just the whole time I was like, oh, fuck, I wonder if that's what her name is based on.
Maybe.
I gotta actually look up, because I doubt her real name is Callista Flockhart, but that's just what this is. That's Callista Flock and Hart are all part of the story.
Yeah. I also, now that we're at the conclusion of the tale, I would like the biggest conceivable props for not even once making a Freebird joke.
Yeah. Sure. Callista Flockhart. Her name is Callista K. Flockhart. That's just her name.
I love it.
She's married to Harrison Ford.
Yeah. So I'll go into this more in the bonus episode and talk about like the sort of like the genealogy of swan women in folklore of like, you know, there are certain types of these women who are descended of swans or who are part swans or who are were swans and stuff like that in mythology. And like they have a lot of things in common sometimes. Sometimes they're considered, some of them are like the right hand to a bad guy sometimes.
Yeah.
They're like, swan maidens are the like lady henchmen kind of sometimes, which I think is very cool.
That is cool.
A lot of times they're like the like purity and like
because of swans.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that goes on with like swan women and everything like that. I think that this is a really cool interpretation. I love Callista finding out about the veil and then being like, oh, thank you so much, waiting for her mother-in-law to leave.
Yeah.
And then just fucking busting out through a window.
I really love that.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Cool.
What a fucking horror show of epic proportions. That was very fun.
Yeah. And also this was written in 1787.
Yeah.
Like all of the weird nuance to it and like the fact that
it feels weirdly modern.
Yeah. And it really is written to be like, yeah, maybe Zoe didn't really like Benno that much, you know? Like that's a very clear subtext and everything.
It feels like an edited thing of like at the end. Because you know how like sometimes they would get to the end and then people would be like, you know what, if we're going to actually publish this, you do need to kind of change the ending.
Yeah, it does feel like it.
Feels a little bit like they added like, oh yeah, by the way, I was in love with him the whole time.
Yeah, it feels like they like got feedback on the screen test for it a little bit, you know, like.
Which would happen. We told a story where that was, we told stories on here before where that happened in like the 1700s where they were like, if you're going to do this, the Witches of Fife. The Witches of Fife, you told us that they had to change the ending so that the witches won because it was just like the witches got punished at the end of that story. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like that's what this one feels like.
It does, yeah. But I just like all of the nuance in it, like, so cool.
That was really cool. Aw, epic.
God, what a long, good story.
I am proud of you, and I am so happy to know that. And also, that makes me want to like write the best suspense romance ever.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Somebody do it.
Yeah.
Hopefully that inspired other people. Well, Max.
Janey.
Excellent work.
Thank you.
That was epic.
Yes.
If you guys like that and you have thoughts and notes and things that you want to talk to us about, there's a couple ways you can get in touch with us. You can follow us on Instagram. I think that's the easiest thing for most people. You could email us at sortofthestory@gmail.com, or you could head to our Patreon and pay $3 to join our Discord, or you could pay $7 to join our Discord and get a monthly bonus episode. And for the bonus episode, Max is going to continue the discussion of swan princesses by telling the story of Swan Lake.
Yep.
How exciting. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm a wild card.
Ooh.
So we hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you liked this, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That would mean a lot.
Yeah.
And have a great fucking day, you losers.
You fucking losers. Freebird.
Testing.
Test. Oh God, a bunch of aliens just came in here with lasers and were being murdered.
So I was out with this guy at the plant shop.
I really feel like you need to assess the gravity of this situation more. There are aliens here. We're going to be murdered.
Yeah. I was out with this person. Just as friends going to garden centers. And at one point we started talking about, because there's going to be a Gullah Geechee Cultural Heritage Center opening up, and they're doing the grand opening tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
At Georgia Southern. And I was like, I want to go. I do have that thing with that other guy, and I'm like, maybe I should. Anyway, so we were talking about that, and I was telling him about, like, boo hags, because that's, that's the, when I think about the Gullah Geechee people, that's the thing that it sticks out to me as somebody who did ghost tours, right? Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, so there's the whole thing. And he was like, so do you believe in ghosts? And I was like, I believe in what I personally see, and I think a lot of other people tend to make, including myself sometimes, makes, like, jumps to conclusions. I think that there's a lot of reasons why you can feel uncomfortable, you know, like there's just, and so we talked about that for a bit, and he was like, yeah, there's like all these things about like ghosts and like, you know, demons and like aliens and stuff. And I was like, well,
some of those things are different from the other things.
Confirmed aliens. I was like, no, maybe you guys just decided to be friends. Maybe don't jump in with like,
anyways, aliens aren't real.
Aliens are real.
Oh. We were on different... Are you saying aliens are real?
Yeah.
Okay,
You think aliens are real?
Yeah, of course I think aliens are real.
That's a fact now. It was proven by the CIA.
Also, even if it hadn't been, I personally am of the opinion that it's dumb to think that aliens aren't real.
It's really fucking Republican to think aliens don't exist.
It does feel very, like, insular and short-sighted, because also, we have a concept of what life looks like, and... the fact that that's the only form of, like, life or sentience that exists in the universe is fucking bonkers.
It's wild.
Like, I don't think that there's another planet that also has people on it, but, like...
I would like... I don't know why, but I would really like there to be a bunch of conservatives in, like, 50 years going, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Zork! I would like that. I don't think I would like it in the moment, but I would appreciate it for what it was.
Yeah.
It's not Adam and Zork.
It's not Adam and Zork.
It might be Eve and Zork.
Oh.
But who knows?